The wind blew the officer's face.
He literally got on the radio and said he needed medics for that and then tried to retrieve his Narcan before he went unconscious.
Indianapolis firefighters saved the officer just in time, says Southport Police Chief Tom Vaughn on WIBC's Hammer and Nigel show. Police are now carrying extra Narcan just in case. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
He's accused of shooting and killing his family 2 years ago. The murder trial for Raymond Childs III is underway, and he's said to have killed his parents, siblings, and his brother's girlfriend who was pregnant. Another brother of his survived the shooting and is expected to testify. 2 days away from the beginning of the Colts training camp, General Manager Chris Ballard on what you and players can expect.
We get after it. Not sure. Our practices are not long, but they're intense. So when we're out here, we're working.
Tickets are free to attend a training camp at Grand Park, but you have to claim them at the Colts website. Traffic on the 5s, Dominic Fortini.
Lots of lingering delays left over from this morning. Keep in mind construction closures northbound 465 from I-74 into I-70, as well as the eastbound side of 465 on the south side from I-65 to 74. Leftover delays still to be found northbound 465 on the west side between 71st and 865. Double-digit delays dot the northbound side of I-65 from Edgewood into the south split. Also spotting some heavier traffic eastbound I-70 between Tibbs and the south split. And watch for crews working a crash near Kentucky and Merrill this morning. Traffic is sponsored by Mr. Quick Home Services. Is your AC struggling to keep up? Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered. Get $74 off any AC repair now. Trust their fast service to keep you comfortable. MrQuickHomeServices.com. I'm Dominic Fortini with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And we cut to size. Because just like taxes and BS, we think metal is better when cut. Metal Supermarkets, the convenient stores for metal. Find a store or shop online at metalsupermarkets.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Some areas of fog this morning, otherwise partly cloudy with a spotty storm possible late. Today's high 84. Mostly clear, quiet, and muggy overnight, a low down to 68. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Sunny and 74 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Rob Kendall. When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money. And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. So, my name is Casey Daniels. Rob Kendall running a little late this morning. What was he getting, his eyebrows waxed?
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking it's an eyebrow waxing that is keeping him from being here this morning.
We'll find out when he gets here. He will be joining us shortly. That is Jim Roberts, who is in the studio this morning. Thanks for coming in this morning, dude.
Good morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Okay, so, ladies, here's the message. If you're given mixed signals for months, if he breaks up with you via text and he ghosts you so intensely you don't know if he's alive or dead, that's not your man. That's your current president.
This is how low expectations have come down for Joe Biden. We don't expect him to be coherent. We don't expect him to actually be running the country. All we're looking for right now
is proof of life.
Are you alive or not? And we're just kind of curious. Just the American people sitting over 330 million of us just sitting here shrugging our shoulders going, I wonder if the president's alive or not.
I wonder if he's around. What's he up to? So what are we on? Day 5, day 6?
I think this is day 6. Six days in a row that Biden has not been seen.
Okay, well, he is allegedly alive because someone placed a phone call into the headquarters where the vice president, Kamala, was at this event trying to get all the campaigners all charged up for her campaign for president.
All the money.
Oh, the money. Okay, well, here he is trying to dispel rumors that he is dead.
I know yesterday's news was surprising, and it was hard for you to hear. but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me to help us win this thing, help me get this nomination, help me win the nomination, and then go on to win the presidency. But you're an amazing team. But we've got a great. I think we made the right decision.
He very much sounds like he is slurring.
Yeah, it sounds like the droopy lip sort of thing happening there, and he's obviously been sick with COVID, and wish the president all the best of luck with his health, but that audio is not all that reassuring. I mean, I assume that's him. I assume he's still alive. Doesn't sound great.
So the White House did release that press release saying that he is recovering from COVID symptoms, and they've almost resolved completely, and that he continues to perform all of his presidential duties, although it is now being reported that he's passing off a lot of his duties to Antony Blinken, Secretary of State. But here's the thing, this update on his health only referenced COVID. It didn't mention anything else that was going on with him.
And this is going to be very interesting to see as this plays out, because now all the talking points are around, well, if he's too incapacitated to run for president, should he continue to finish out his term? And we've still got 6 months left here until January 2025 when, he's still going to be president. So this is what we're going to see play out. This is the battle of withholding health information about how healthy Biden is. If you think it was bad before, it's going to get much worse going forward. And there's going to be this fight going on for, should he continue to run be the president, or should he resign not only from the campaign, but from the office?
Well, if he's not well enough to run for president, who thinks he's well enough to govern?
And this is going to be the fight. And I think that this is going to play out significantly with the election happening as a backdrop to this. This is going to prepare for the next 6 months of limited health information coming out about Joe Biden and limited public appearances. I mean, I think this 6 days that we've been in where nobody has seen Joe Biden, which I don't know what the record is in modern political American history for how long it's been since a president's been seen. I mean, even in the depths of COVID, when Donald Trump got COVID and he had a really bad case of it, it was like 36 hours later, and he made an appearance and showed up. You're going to likely see and hear a lot less of Joe Biden as he finishes his term or tries to finish his term.
Here's Harris talking about how much she loves Joe Biden.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do, everybody here does.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
But he is going somewhere.
Yeah, he's not going to the ballot box.
Right. So it's like, we love you so much. Thanks for quitting, by the way.
The relationship between Kamala and Joe Biden will be really interesting, how that plays out over the next 6 months as well.
So during this phone call, she put him on hold. It's like, hey, we just, had a coup, but can you hold on for just a second, Joe?
So, Joe, I'm going to recognize some of the electeds who are here, and then I'm going to get back to you. Hold on a second.
We love you, Joe and Jill. Oh, we love you so much. Hold on. I've got a call coming in. Just sit back.
Wait a second. I've got to talk to some other people really quick. And then she's talking to him again like he's a toddler while he's on the phone.
Joe, are you watching? You hear this clapping? Can you see it?
I'm watching. I'm watching.
I knew it.
Is he watching on a video stream? I didn't see that.
He's got his camera. Joe Biden's just like all of us. We're stuck on a Zoom call and we don't want to have to turn our camera on. And the boss is like, no, camera's on for this meeting. We're like, oh man, rolling our eyes and that sort of thing. Joe just doesn't want to turn his camera on.
Okay, well, it's being reported that Kamala Harris has raised $81 million in the first 24 hours of her presidential campaign. And this is a plan. Does anybody really think that she can raise $81 million within 24 hours if this money wasn't being held back for the moment to release it all at once.
But that's what this has always been about, has been about the money. You know, it's real. I saw somebody on Twitter post that it's very similar to college football. You can be supportive of your college football coach, but once the donors and the backers pull their money and say they're going to stop donating, that's when the college football coach gets fired. It's the exact same thing here. All of the mega donors said, we're not so sure. We're going to hold back our donations. And that money kind of built up this pent-up demand. And as soon as Kamala's announced, then all that money floods in, and it looks like this big record-setting headline.
So it almost seems like that this money was being held back, and it was all a plan well before Biden withdrew, and then they just released it all at once. And her campaign announced that they had a new crop of 43,000 recurring donors who signed up just after Biden passed the torch to her. $6.1 million raised by a Zoom call, too. So we're just going to hold on to all of this money. The announcement comes, and then the floodgates open.
But that makes sense. That's why, one of the major reasons why Joe Biden ultimately had to throw in the towel here. He was not getting the backing of the major donors, and now you've seen that flood come in, and it just proves the point.
Okay, so another thing that happened yesterday was that Israel's prime minister and his wife arrived in Washington, D.C. Nobody was there to greet him. Not Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, nobody from the State Department. This is our biggest ally in the Middle East, and he just got off that plane to no welcome party.
How embarrassing is this? You're right. It's our biggest ally in the Middle East, the only democratically elected state in the entire Middle East. We've been sending them billions of dollars in aid for decades and decades, and certainly a lot more since this war with Hamas started. You know, the fact of the matter is the Democrat base does not like Israel. And so the Democrats are having to walk this fine line of doing what's right for the country and supporting our strongest ally in the Middle East, while also trying to pander to their pro-Hamas crowd and the, kids that are protesting on college campuses who hate Israel. This is going to be, can you just imagine Benjamin Netanyahu flying across the entire country to pay, the respects to the United States and the president and shore up support, and he lands and he's treated like any other tourist landing in the United States.
No proper diplomatic welcome at all. It's pretty disgraceful. So what's going to be the plan then to beat Kamala Harris? Because we've been for months thinking that Donald Trump was going to go against Joe Biden. Well, not all of us were thinking that for months. Many of us realized long ago that that wasn't going to be the case. But now they've got to tie Harris to Biden.
Which is pretty easy to do. I mean, she's been there fully supporting him throughout the last, his entire presidency. So check that box. That's easy.
And then argue that she's definitely more radical than Biden was even.
And again, she's got her track record before she was even vice president, when she was, all the way back to being a DA in San Francisco. She's got her track record of some really radical views. And obviously Trump and his team are going to harp on that pretty strongly. And there's this whole element of her just being, for
dishonest?
lack of socially awkward.
Oh, okay.
She's weird. She's just got this awkward sense. She's got this goofy laugh, this goofy way she talks. She's obsessed with Venn diagrams. There's just massive amounts of video clips out of her just being kind of odd and kind of weird. And I think that Trump and his campaign are going to go hard on that. It's going to be really interesting to see what nickname Trump comes up with. You had Little Marco, and you had Ron DeSanctimonious and Crooked Joe. What's his
I did
nickname
see
for
him
Kamala
truth out that she was lying Kamala Harris, because she has been dishonest with the American people about Joe Biden's health. Just a month ago, she was saying how vigor and sharp he is. And we all know that that's not true. So we're going to have that to deal with. She was tasked with solving the border crisis. She only went there because she was pressured into doing it, and she would look at the root causes. And we all know that that's malarkey.
Malarkey, take a shot.
As Joe Biden would say. Now, something else that the Republicans have to do is that, their argument about saving democracy is null and void at this point, because we saw what happened. They had no primary. They said it was going to be Joe Biden. they remove him and just install her. Well, there's nothing democratic about that situation.
And that's been the case for the Democrats for a long time, going all the way back to 2016 and Hillary Clinton. They convinced Joe Biden not to run and to let Hillary have her fun and her day in the sun. That didn't quite work out for them. Then you remember in 2020, Bernie Sanders was mopping the floor with everybody in the primaries. They convinced Joe Biden to do that at the very end. He comes in, saves the day, so you don't have to worry about crazy Bernie Sanders being the party's nominee. And now here they've done it again in 2024 with Kamala Harris, and looks like she's going to be the nominee, although who knows, anything could happen, and we've got, a couple weeks still until the Democrat convention.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
President Biden has dropped out of the presidential race.
93 WIBC.
Vice President Harris now runs for president.
Harris will have to earn the nomination at the convention.
Congressman Andre Carson.
President Biden effectively made the right decision.
He's endorsing Kamala Harris for president.
Another news update is minutes away.
A Noblesville firefighter was arrested.
Brett Etherington is captain of the Noblesville Fire Department, charged with domestic battery.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. It's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes. They're 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
BoerRemodeling.com, serving Central Indiana for 23 years. These are your kitchen and bathroom remodeling specialists. When you're ready to make the change, they're ready for you. It's a new year, so it's time to get it done. That kitchen, that heart of the home, the bathroom, a place where you can actually relax and build instant equity in your home. 317-852-5546 or online at Boer, BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
Tomorrow starts at IU Indianapolis. Our students are the engine of Indiana's future, in powerful partnership with the country's leading businesses and organizations. We prepare each student to make impacts that matter right here at home, inspiring bold endeavors and life-changing careers. Bring on tomorrow, IU Indianapolis. Discover how we're powering what's possible at go.iu.edu/tomorrow.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Aren't you worried Max might run off? He's safe. We installed invisible fence. See a special collar? So he can roam freely but won't leave the yard? Exactly. And it was so easy. Invisible fence installed everything and even sent out an expert to train Max. I need invisible fence for Roxy.
Go to invisiblefence.com to get started today, absolutely risk-free. Give your pet freedom and safety. Go to invisiblefence.com right now and schedule your free consultation. Go to invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com.
Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's family-owned jewelry store, is dedicated to quality and fine craftsmanship. Let them help you celebrate that special moment in your life. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You have a hard time pronouncing her name sometimes, don't you?
I still don't know what's accurate. I still don't know the right way to pronounce her name.
Kamala
or Kamala. I don't know.
It is the Kendall and Casey show. It's 93 WIBC. Rob running late today, but that is Jim who's joining me. So if you go to MSNBC, they'll let you know how to pronounce her name.
And I've heard from inside Republican circles and right-wing media that the hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. You'll notice they purposefully pronounce her name wrong. They say Kamala. They do it all the time. It is on purpose. But the talk is to start that hate campaign and get it going and start it churning.
So it's hate if you mispronounce her name.
She's just being treated like every other politician. But this is what we're going to see from places like MSNBC. She's being treated like every other politician. They're going to come at her hard, as they should, just like they would come at any other politician. Is MSNBC at fault because they called him Vivek Ramaswamy for 10 months?
Right. Or
when
Vivek.
Later, we found out it's actually Vivek. He was around for about a year before we found out that was the correct way to pronounce his name. Was that hate from MSNBC? No, it's just that we don't know, and that's perfectly acceptable. A lot of these people are coming out of obscurity like Vivek did, and we weren't quite exactly sure on how to pronounce his name.
So she's been vice president for 3.5 years now, and we don't know how to pronounce her name properly. Well, what does that tell you about her contribution?
But do you remember this happened during Bush and Cheney? I mean, Dick Cheney had been a Washington insider and Secretary of Defense and Chief of Staff and all that sort of stuff. And he was well into his term as vice president under George W. Bush. And somebody said, it's actually Cheney.
Is it really?
It really is. It's Cheney. It's not Cheney. But he's like, you know what? It's already out there. People are pronouncing it this way. Why would I fight it?
It's already been branded one way. Just go with it.
Exactly. And whether it's accurate or not is not the most important thing in the world. So, was that mainstream media hate for Dick Cheney over 30 years of his career? No. It's just the way the culture and the media moved and pronounced his name. And it's the same thing here with
Kamala.
Kamala? I still don't know.
Just call her Harris. You can do that, right?
Ms. Harris.
Okay. Did you see about this woman who's making up to $350 an hour running a professional baby name consulting firm?
I did. Now, so
parents are going to a professional to help name their baby, and they're paying big money for it.
Look, I love an entrepreneur, and so no hate to this woman who is the baby name consultant. Someone that goes out, she hustles, she created something out of nothing, and especially because if you read the story, it sounds like she just kind of stumbled across this as a business. She was posting, baby name information on TikTok and that sort of thing, and then just having fun, sharing her information and knowledge when people began reaching out to her asking, hey, could you give me a hand and help me name my baby? So great story. Love everything about this. Wonderful American entrepreneur. Good for her. But if you're a customer of hers, come on, what are we doing here? You're paying someone a lot. There are attorneys that don't make $350 an hour to do something that every single person in the history of mankind up until this point has been able to do on their own.
Name their child. So this expert, she uses baby name forums, books, Social Security Administration data, and other sources to come up with options. Apparently, she has her customers fill out a questionnaire, and she'll ask a list of names, like how many syllables do you want the names? She'll also consider what siblings are named and if they all go together. And she says that she has about 25 customers a month. She's made nearly $70,000 a year naming other people's names. But the best baby name of all was created by George Costanza from Seinfeld.
I got a great name for our kids. A real original. You want to hear what it is? Yeah? You ready?
Yeah. What is that, sign language?
7.
7 Costanza. You're serious?
Yeah. It's a beautiful name for a boy or a girl. Especially a girl or a boy.
I don't think so.
Well, you don't like the name?
It's not a name. It's a number.
I know. It's Mickey Mantle's number. So not only is it an all-around beautiful name, it is also a living tribute.
It's awful. I hate it.
Well, that's the name.
Oh, no, it is not. No child of mine is ever going to be named 7.
All right, let's just stay calm here.
It always comes back to sports, doesn't it? It's Mickey Mantle's number 7. I wanted to name our daughter Jordan.
After Michael
Jordan.
Jordan.
Obviously, for Michael Jordan.
But
I thought that was a beautiful name, especially for a girl, and that lasted about half a second. I couldn't even get it out of my mouth, and you were like, no way.
That's not going to happen. Not naming our daughter after a basketball player.
Would have been great.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Are you within 5 years of filing for Social Security? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96% forfeit an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's all because, unfortunately, they file for their benefits at the wrong time. Learn how you can avoid this with a free customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy.
So if you've saved more than $200,000 for retirement and have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. Bill Demery. For some people, filing for Social Security early could result in more net income in retirement. The free analysis pinpoints exactly how you could get the most income from Social Security. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She's it. Radar is clear, sunny and 75 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Democrats have named their presumptive presidential nominee, Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Vice President Harris is the presumptive Democratic nominee after securing the backing of the 1,976 pledged delegates needed to win the party nomination. It was Texas and the vice president's home state of California that helped get Harris the support she needed. Vice President Harris, in a statement, says she looks forward to formally accepting the nomination soon. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Delta Airlines says that it will take another couple days to recover from a global computer outage that happened Friday. The airline has canceled more than 4,000 flights since then. CEO Ed Bastian said yesterday that the company is doing everything possible, including increases in incentive pay for pilots and flight attendants. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Some modest declines to start the day. The Dow was off 15 to 40,678. The NASDAQ down 28 to 19,972. And the S&P 500 is off 1.5 to 5,609. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only, and Sunday.
A diagnosis of Alzheimer's can make it a struggle to communicate with loved ones. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I've got a tip which often helps that will be music to your ears. Don't go away.
At Cardon Senior Living Communities, you'll find our teams share a commitment to enhancing the lifestyle and well-being of the people we serve every day at every stage of life.
A growing number of studies show the power of music's role in those living with Alzheimer's. The next time a loved one seems to be tuned out, gently place headphones on them or simply turn on one of their favorite songs. Watch their eyes light up, and don't be surprised if they sing along or start chatting about the tune. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So Rob Kendall running a little late this morning. He had something to take care of. Was that a bikini wax?
According to the YouTube chat, it's a Brazilian he was getting
a Brazilian.
done. So,
okay.
I don't know if that's been sourced accurately or not. Allegedly, a Brazilian, according to someone in the YouTube chat this morning. So, but it sounds fun, so we're going to go with that for right now.
You know what? We're just as transparent as your government is right now. So.
No idea. Where is he? Haven't seen him in days. Who knows?
He's pulling a Joe Biden. Oh, wait. He just walked in. There he is.
Getting old sucks.
Yeah? What's going on?
Oh, my gosh. I'm just falling apart.
Yeah? Are you okay?
Tell me about it. Give it another 10 years and get back to me.
Well, it's this weird thing where, like, 2 weeks ago, I wake up, 4th of July, in fact, and I see this, like, dime-size, like, hole in my beard on the side of my face.
No.
Like, there's just, like, the hair just stopped growing. And I thought, well, it's fine, whatever. Like,
It'll fill in.
Yeah,
Right,
it'll
right.
come back.
Yeah.
And then, like, a week later, there's another one on the other side of my face. And so I said, okay, I should, like, go get this checked out.
Yeah.
And so I did. I'm not going to die.
Good.
All
I
right,
mean,
good.
at least I don't think so.
Good.
And they gave me something to treat it. But my doctor was like, you're just old and you treat yourself like crap and you can't do that anymore.
So they gave you a salve, a cream
Yeah,
to
they
rub
gave me
on
some
your
sort of
face?
thing, and I got to go get some blood work just to make sure I'm not actually dying. But my doctor was like, you have lived the life of a 20-year-old.
And you're not 20 anymore.
For basically 20 years, and you have to
Knock it
stop.
off.
You have to start eating better, and you cannot drink 9 diet sodas a day. And so... You're an infinitely better broadcaster than I am, by the way.
No, that is not true at all. But as someone who is a little bit more seasoned than you, I've got news, Rob. I'm sorry. It doesn't get any better. You just end up going to more and more doctor's appointments the older you get. And usually it's him just looking at me going, I don't know, take a couple Tylenol.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do. I don't know what to tell you. Your body's just worn out.
But isn't that bad for your liver?
Yeah. But if you don't want to be in pain all day, then, take a couple Tylenol.
My favorite part was my wife was trying to diagnose me at home, and I kept telling her, no,
Sure.
I think it's this thing. And she's like, no. And I was like, no, I'm reading about this. I think it's this
I think
thing.
doctors really love it when you come in and self-diagnose.
And
But the internet told me.
My wife, who is an IT professional, said in her medical opinion, it's this.
and he was, the doctor's looking at me, and he's like, yeah, no, it's this.
No.
I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm a doctor.
So
Like,
she
is what
was-
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
So have you called her and told her she was wrong?
I told her I was going to live.
Okay.
And she seemed very disappointed.
Good.
Bummer. Life insurance.
Well, one time the dude was in the hospital, and
One time. One of many
One of the
times when I was in the hospital.
And they said, you know what, we think that may just be an ulcer. Just stay away from red wine and, the marinara sauce and things like that. And I said to the doctor, are you sure? Because, he did just have surgery. Are you sure it's not because of that? The doctor rolled his eyes at me.
I mean, it was a hard eye roll.
And
Like, it was
said,
not
well,
only an
if-
eye roll, there was like a tilting of the head, leaned back.
Right, eye roll. And he said, well, if you want to make sure, we can go do a CT scan. And I said, yeah, because I don't want to be back here in 24 hours. He comes back from the CT scan and says, yeah, we need to admit you and you need surgery.
He's like, it's a good thing you talked me into that CT scan because things aren't good down there, and we're going to admit you, and you got to get into surgery as soon as possible.
So I was listening to you guys coming in, and think about this. So we have just in the past 5 minutes had a more transparent, candid conversation about my health and Jim's health than the President of the United States.
Yeah, where is that guy?
I mean,
Do you
that's
think
pathetic.
that phone call was real? Was that a recording? I think it really was him. I'm not sure if it was live or if it was recorded, but you can definitely hear a slurring in the words. And there have been rumors and reports and alleged medical events that happened. And I'm starting to believe, yeah, that probably is true.
Well, isn't that wild that it was reported in Vegas, because we had talked about it at the time, this guy has COVID and he's out at a restaurant with people. He doesn't look like a guy who's killed over dead of COVID or about to kill over dead of COVID, and he seems fine. And then he just disappears. And you were talking about it, Jim, coming in. What is it, like 6 days? Nobody's seen or basically heard from the guy, like in person.
And, whether that phone call was real, I'm sure it was, but that's beside the point. We shouldn't have to be sitting here having this conversation about, was that phone call real? Is he alive or is he dead? And it's been 6 days since we've seen him. He's the president of the United States. He's got to show his face.
With a newspaper.
With a newspaper.
So you don't think it's
to
a deep
prove
fake.
the date.
But seriously, right now you think, is that AI? Is that for real?
That's a great point. Even if he were, unless he comes out with a live press conference, there's going to be questions about it. That's the point that we're at right now. We shouldn't be at this point where we're having to, hyper analyze this phone call and decide if it's real or fake or not.
So do you want to talk about what happened yesterday with the members of the House Oversight Committee?
Wait, real quick. Can I just, when I was driving in, I heard this. You did not allow Jim to name your daughter after Michael Jordan. Like, is that a real thing?
It's true. It's true. Like I said, I couldn't even finish getting the word Jordan out of my mouth when it was a no.
Yeah, we had kicked around a lot of names, but at the end of the day, he did choose her name. It just was not after Michael Jordan.
So Jordan was your number one. Like, if we were slotting. So like my kid's name was originally going to be Reagan Thatcher,
which I loved.
I had the win. I had the win on that, and then Gabrielle
gave birth
one night and told me
all the work.
God has told me it will be Olivia Thatcher, and I said, "Are you sure God is speaking to you clearly? Because I really think God would want Reagan Thatcher." And it was like, what am I going to do? Fight God? I don't know. So so Jordan was your one.
Absolutely. I would have, if it was completely up to me, it would have been Jordan. I would have settled for Jordan as a middle name. That was also a no.
Did you fight? Did you fight at all for it? Like, I mean, like I questioned, I said, are you sure God is speaking clearly to you? Are you sure,
it wasn't a knockdown, drag-out fight. Yeah. It was how I usually fight, which is presenting evidence, a clear, logical case as to why this is a great name and why we should name our daughter Jordan and all the pros and cons associated with it. It was quite a great argument. If I had been in a court of law, that jury would have come back in my favor all day long. But it was a conversation with my wife instead. And like I said, that
how those things
go. It was a no, and I said, "Are you sure?" There's no, and I could tell by the tone and the way it was delivered that this was a hard no, and no matter how much arguing I could do, it was still going to be a no.
So tell him the name that I wanted to name her after the golfer.
But that wasn't really serious. Happy?
Yeah. After Happy
Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. That wasn't a real conversation.
You wanted to legally name your child Happy?
Yeah, for about a day.
I think
what
it was
sort of hippie bull crap.
Pregnancy hormones got into her, and she was starving, and I hadn't taken the trip to KFC to get a bucket of chicken in a couple of hours, and that's, I think, when the word happy came out as an idea for a name. It was delusional. Your blood sugar was low at that
Emily's
minute.
a family name?
No, that was a name that Jim picked.
That was so her middle name is the family name. That's how we went with it on that. But Emily just kind of was something that kind of spoke to us, and when she was born, it was easily the right choice. We could just see she looked like an Emily.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry for derailing the segment. I just
that's much more interesting than talking about the Secret Service director and Joe Biden.
The House Oversight Committee hearing yesterday. All right, we'll get into that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Are you not entertained? It's the Hammer and Nigel show. We crack the mic at 3:06. We go until 7. And with this news cycle, you have no idea what's coming up next. We're going to give you the biggest updates. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. Join us this afternoon. 93 WIBC.
Listen up, Hoosier. This is Gunny speaking, and I'm here to tell you what Senator Todd Young is doing about the mess Biden's creating at the border. The Laken Riley Act ain't no walk in the park, soldier. It's a mission to secure our border. When illegals think they can just waltz in and wreak havoc, they got another thing coming. Senator Young's legislation is going to lock them down tighter than a drum. Young ain't just sitting around saluting. No, sir. He's stopping flow of fentanyl like it's enemy number one. Fighting the flow of fentanyl into Indiana from our southern border. And recognizing that it's causing Hoosier families to lose loved ones far too soon. Joe Biden is responsible for this crisis, and Todd is stopping him. It's time to build the wall, enforce tough immigration laws, Todd Young, a Marine fighting to protect Hoosiers. Hoorah! Paid for by Hoosier Honor Pack. Hoosier Honor Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at HoosierHonor.com.
C&J's water softener deal gets you a free reverse osmosis with any softener purchase of 30,000 grains or larger. C&J softeners are the state-of-the-art and most reliable units on the market today. And listen, hard water causes all sorts of problems, from dry skin and hair to clogged pipes and water stains. C&J's water softeners can help you prevent all those issues, so take advantage of this great softener deal and get a free reverse osmosis unit included. C&J, great systems and great people too. 317-733-SOFT.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars are Thursday, July 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, July 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Indianapolis Northeast in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register now at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel this week for your chance to win 4 VIP tickets to see Buddy Guy August 7th at the Hoosier Lottery Free Stage at the Indiana State Fair.
More info online at WIBC.com.
You're like half here, half not. I love it. It's the casual side of Rob Kendall. You are listening to the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Thank you for filling in, by the way. I felt
happy
horrible.
to do it. No, you shouldn't feel terrible. No, I love doing this. You know, I'm your number one fan of this show. I love coming in here. I feel honored and privileged and happy to help you out too while you can take care of things.
Yeah, you guys were great. Like, I was listening to the whole first half hour driving in, and it's so crazy now trying to get into like medical professionals. So I had to go see the dermatologist this morning for those of you who just showed up, and Jim did a great job filling in the first half hour. So I called yesterday and I was like, well, maybe I'll make an appointment for next week. It'll be afternoon, whatever. And they're like, okay, he can see you tomorrow at 8:50 or January of next year.
Right.
And I was like, I must have misheard you. Like, you mean like I clearly there was some sort of connection, or you're looking at the wrong thing. She's like, no, he can see you at 8:50 tomorrow or January of next year.
Well, and you were trying to come up with some convoluted plan that you would go from Brownsburg into the station and then out to Plainfield and then back to the station. So, you know what, Rob? Just go to your appointment.
Well, I felt horrible because, it's like I'm throwing it off on Jim. Like, hey, can you save our show?
Hey, can you? What's he going to say? No. What are you going to say?
She looks at me in the afternoon and she goes, hey, Rob just texted me and he's got a doctor's appointment at 8:50. Can you just come in and do the first hour? But it's just the opposite. I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, I can do the first hour. Do you need me to do the whole show for him? I'm like a little puppy. I'm all excited. Yeah, of course I can do it.
It is fun when you don't have to be here every day, right?
That is the thing. You're right, exactly. So when you're doing, as somebody who, I worked in radio for, and television for 30 years, there's a difference between doing it 3 hours a day, every day, 5 days a week, and me, I just get to come in and have fun every now and then I get to leave and go back to my job that I do.
And we've got this little scam now where she does the whole show. And so when she was not at work, it dawned on me like at, I don't know, 2 p.m. on Sunday. I'm just watching the British Open, going about my day, pounding back a few brews. And then there's a moment where it's like in the Blues Brothers where Belushi looks at his watch and realizes they've been drinking the whole time and are about to miss the show. Sorry, come on!
Slaps Aykroyd on the back.
I said, I got to do the show.
Well, you were texting me on Saturday articles of things you wanted to talk about. And I just texted you back. I'm off on Monday. Oh, right.
I need to do this.
Yeah, so, I mean, thank you for all that you do. I mean, you do all the work, and thank you for all that you've done. You've done all the first hour, and I just, whatever.
You just show up and give a hot take with zero prep, according to you.
And I love our bosses. Like, I texted our boss, Matt Hiblin. I was like, hey, I got to go to this dermatologist appointment in the morning, thinking like he'd be like, why didn't you give us notice? He's like, oh, cool, have fun. I said, Jim's got to come.
Enjoy yourself. Jim's covered. Okay, cool. Hey, you know what? As long as the trains keep running on time.
Right, that's all they care about,
Just keep the trains running on time. Time to make the donuts.
As long as we don't have dead air.
Hey, we have a big announcement coming up top of next hour.
Let's get to that.
Big announcement.
That's the tease, huh?
That's the tease.
That's it.
I think it will be something our audience is going to be very, very excited about. And it's something that I think they've waited a long time for. And so we have a big announcement coming up 10:06 at that'd be next hour.
Yeah. All right. That's on the way. You were tweeting about that last night, and somebody said Casey's pregnant. That's the announcement.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
No, that's not. That ship has sailed.
Oh, has it?
Yes, that ship has sailed. Just so we're clear on that, okay?
Okay, perfect. So you put this fabulous template together today.
Yeah.
What else do you have for us?
Let's talk about what happened yesterday with the House Oversight Committee as they were questioning, and I say questioning lightly, the Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheadle. Okay, so it's a House Oversight Committee hearing. So the definition of that is pretty much you sit here and let us yell at you for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what it was. And look, let me be clear here. She's a disaster, massively incompetent, should definitely resign. I mean, that's the Secret Service's job. You have to be right 100% of the time. I don't know if that's fair or not, but that's what the job is. And when you're not right and something like this happens, the leader needs to go. But I will give her credit. She stood up there and took her punishment. For 5 or 6 hours, sat there. Both Democrats and Republicans just destroyed her again and again and again. And so she took her punishment like an adult. And I have to give her credit for that because we haven't seen that from Biden. We got a resignation via Twitter and then radio silence, no proof of life for 6 days. He hasn't done the same way. So that's, at least I will give Cheadle credit for standing there and taking all she deserved yesterday. And it was brutal.
Well, did she really, though, take all she deserved? I mean, she deserves to be unemployed at this point. Left one person dead, 2 others seriously injured, an assassination attempt on the nominee for president, beloved Donald Trump, and now there's calls for her to resign. And she's not doing it. She's digging in her heels. I mean, this is a woman who was guarding Pepsi and Fritos. Was she even qualified for this position? Apparently, she originally interviewed to be the Secret Service in charge of Jill Biden's detail, and they elevated her up. So
how's that work? You go in and apply for one job, and they're like, hey, we don't have this mid-level managerial job, but you want to be the CEO? How about you do that?
I was going to ask you both that because you both have been pretty big-time radio executives and in management. Did that ever happen to you guys where you went in and either wowed them or nobody else wanted the job and they're like, well, the job you applied for is taken, but we have this much better job that you're wholly unqualified for, but it comes with a lot more money. Would you like that?
No, not even close.
That did happen to me when I interviewed for a job. I went to the interview in Maryland.
Oh, that's right. That did happen to you once,
and I
actually.
got there and the guy said, we've got a better position.
He realized that
I was qualified for it.
Yeah.
He realized that you were much better than you appeared or than he assumed. And yes, the initial job that you flew out to look at, once he got to know you and realized your qualifications, he realized, you know what, we've got a bigger, more important job that she has the chops to be able to handle. That did happen.
But you just hit on a great point, Casey and Jim, which is how it's the director of the Secret Service, right? This is not some paper pusher position. You're in charge of protecting the most important people in the country. How does someone as unqualified as this person get to that position.
job. Yeah.
A department that has a budget of over $3 billion. So it's like being the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, here's my question. What is, because I think we all think that she's not going to make it through this. She'll either be fired or have to resign. What's the over-under?
Of when she'll be leaving?
When she will either be fired or resign. I'll give you what I think Vegas would put the odds at, and I'm going to say 7 p.m. this Friday. Because that's the classic time when you get that end of the week, right before the weekend, bad news
The Friday dump.
The Friday
well, here's
news
the thing. They just need to do it. They just need to fire her. It'll be gone in a 24-hour news cycle.
Who's going to fire her, though? Biden would have to fire her, right? And he's not. Is he?
Mayorkas.
Is that right?
Yeah, it could be Mayorkas.
Mayorkas, because she's part of the DOJ and Homeland Security.
But I mean, ultimately, normally under normal circumstances, you would think that would run through the president, right? And clearly nothing's running through him. I mean, there may be something running through him. It is not leading the country.
But you bring a great point to that, Rob. How much is Kamala going to be involved in those conversations now? Because now it's like, okay, normally we'd run this through Biden. We know what kind of shape Biden's in. But now we've got the vice president who's going to be running on the Democrat ticket. How many of these decisions now need to be run through her? Or at least give her an opportunity to weigh in.
So she was asked about if she knew what happened after there was the attempt on Ronald Reagan, and the answer was pretty funny.
Now, Director Kendall, would you agree that this is the most serious security lapse since President Reagan was shot in 1981 of the Secret Service?
Yes, sir, I would.
And, do you know what Stuart Knight did when he was in charge at the time of the Secret Service? Do you know what he did afterwards?
He remained on duty.
He resigned.
She didn't know.
That's my favorite part, Casey.
Yeah.
But it does show these people are pathological liars, right? And so I'm just going, I have no idea, sir. She just said, I got 50-50 shot.
With all the confidence in the world and conviction, he stayed on. No, he resigned.
I mean, that's going to be me here. Like, no matter how bad, thankfully our ratings are wonderful, but no matter how bad they would get, Jim, I would never leave. You're going to have to 7 p.m. Friday me out the door because I am Cheadle at this.
I'm going to take the over with you on that one.
But here's the thing. How many of the Secret Service people have lost their jobs at this point?
Over this incident, 0.
0.
Not one.
And we're 10 days out from this, and nobody at this point has been held accountable for what happened. 0 people have been held accountable. All right, big announcement coming up. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Mother's tired, she needs a rest. The kids are playing up downstairs. Sister's sighing in her sleep. Brother's got a date to keep, he can't hang around. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle of our street.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Call 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. That's 800-631-9123.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Absolute Comfort, your trusted independent American Standard Air dealer. And owner Chris Wedekin sells the Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split, a great option for heating and cooling where ductwork can't be installed.
If you have one of those homes that has baseboard heat or electric heat, ceiling cable heat, these can be specifically designed for those houses because in those houses it's very difficult having to do all the construction and remodeling that goes with adding ductwork into those types of homes.
Find out more by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted independent American Standard Air Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Pain from arthritis is just awful. That bone-on-bone pain is constant, and it robs you of so much of the stuff you love to do, but there are effective ways to deal with that pain. Tony Katz here. There are exciting new therapies that can get you lasting relief, and the place to go is QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know steroids and surgery and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore your mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. Talk to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Get your free consultation right now. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, Carmel, QC Kinetics. 317-559-PAIN.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a man accused of murdering most of his family 2 years ago is standing trial, plus who Democrats may look to be vice president and who is getting high praise from players around the NFL. I'm Kurt Darling. I'm Kurt. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC at WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
For the second day in a row, the House is about to hold a hearing into the Trump assassination attempt. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but this time Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle will not be there.
She needs to leave immediately. Should have happened yesterday. Needs to happen today.
Republican Congressman Byron Donalds tells Fox Democrats agree, saying Cheadle did not give many answers about security lapses during yesterday's hearing. This as House leaders set up a bipartisan task force to investigate the Trump assassination attempt that was 10 days ago. The former president tells Fox.
Who would have thought this was going to be happening? But it happened, and I got very lucky. Or God. I think it was God, actually.
The former President Trump's calling his new Democratic opponent, Vice President Harris, dumb as a rock. She'll rally today in Milwaukee after becoming the presumptive nominee just a day after President Biden dropped out of the race.
After securing the backing of the 1,976 pledged delegates needed to win the party nomination, it was Texas and the vice president's home state of California that helped get Harris the support she needed. Vice President Harris, in a statement, says she looks forward to formally accepting the nomination soon.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Biden called into a meeting Harris had at what was Biden campaign headquarters in Delaware.
I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me to help us win this thing. Help me get this nomination.
Now, he returns to the White House today after being isolated, recovering from COVID. Thursday, he'll meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who will address Congress tomorrow. A large fence being put up around the Capitol.
Protesters could be seen near Netanyahu's hotel in D.C. yesterday. Capitol Police say they anticipate more demonstrations and, as a result, have increased security. There's a growing number of House Democrats as well who are planning to boycott Netanyahu's address, as Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal tells Axios the boycott, quote, will be large and that there are a lot of people upset by Netanyahu's visit.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A murder trial gets going. Radar is clear. 78 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. He's accused of shooting and killing his family 2 years ago. The murder trial of Raymond Childs III is underway. He's said to have killed his parents, siblings, and his brother's girlfriend, who was pregnant. Another brother of his survived the shooting.
Police asked him, Xavier, who shot you? And while he lay in the hospital recovering from his wounds, he said, my brother, Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III.
That brother is expected to testify soon. A plane crash killed a person in Benton County on Monday. What led to that crash isn't clear yet. The NTSB and FAA are looking into it. A familiar name is being tossed around as a possible running mate for Kamala Harris as she moves closer to securing the Democratic nomination for president.
You're going to continue to see a focus on making sure that government is working and taking the side of people like my neighbors, people trying to get through their lives.
Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg on what he says you can expect from a Harris White House. He says he was non-committal on MSNBC about whether he might accept an invitation to run beside Harris. A man from Illinois arrested after a police chase Sunday. Harrison Silcox.
State police tried pulling over Jeffrey Price for speeding in Whitley County just before 9 in the morning Sunday. He refused to pull his car over on US 30 and led cops on a chase that eventually went through Allen County. Price was on his way to Fort Wayne, and little did he know, Fort Wayne police were expecting him with stop sticks already laid out. That stopped Price's car. He got out and ran, but could not outrun the cops, who eventually arrested him on charges of reckless driving and resisting police. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Zaire Franklin is getting honored by his peers in the NFL. The Colts linebacker was named the 100th best player by the NFL Top 100 of 2024 yesterday. Colts training camp gets going Thursday. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The new Bluebell Cookies and Cream Cheesecake is cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Again, cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Safeway Foods and Harvest Supermarkets.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 5 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. So yesterday, you tweeted something out. You said, huge program announcement coming up on Kendall and Casey between 9 and noon. Now, you blamed it on me that you weren't going to make the announcement on Twitter. I like that you do that. I was going to give you the exact time, but Casey Daniels said we should make you listen to the whole show.
Well, you know, what is it? TSL, time spent listening? I mean, that's a big part of what we do here, right?
Right, it is.
So I think we kind of teased it last hour, though. And no, I'm not leaving the show. So to the relief of some and the dismay of others, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving the show, but this has taken several weeks to kind of put together. But Friday, 9:15 Friday, Mike Braun will be here in studio to answer all of our questions.
Okay, how long is he going to be staying?
9:15 to 9:45. We're going to clear the deck, and so it'll be 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Back and forth. So we don't know. One might assume he's going to have some sort of big announcement on what he plans to do on property taxes. He's been teasing that for a while. One, again, might make the assumption he couldn't find a better place to do it than right here. And so, like I said, we've been going back and forth on different dates and times, and here we go. So we'll see him Friday, 9:15, and he's either gonna He's either going to win a lot of votes on Friday or he's going to lose a lot of votes, and it'll all be up to him because he knows what he's going to get asked. He knows we're not going to sandbag him. He knows we're going to be fair, but he knows exactly the questions he's going to get. He knows we're asking the questions that our audience wants to know about and is going to shape how they vote for the next governor of the state of Indiana.
And let us be very clear to Mike Braun and his people that are listening. It will be the first question. We're not going to wait till the end. It's not going to be there will be pleasantries, but it will be the first question. Now, I saw that you had Micah Beckwith on the show yesterday. Did you ask him about if Mike Braun has a plan?
No. It's not Micah's issue. It's not Micah's issue. Braun is the candidate, right? Braun's the person people are going to vote on. And we've had this conversation with people since Micah won at convention, which is Micah is not a magic silver bullet. Micah can make differences over time, but ultimately Braun's agenda, and I think Micah has been in his ear. In fact, I know Micah has been in his ear telling him property taxes are the. Well, he said it the other day when he was on with us that property taxes are the issue, and there's hundreds of thousands of people out there who are still in that Donald Rainwater camp, and it's going to be up to Braun to move those people back into the Republican category, and he'll have a chance to do that on Friday. I want Braun to come in here and knock our socks off. I want Braun to be impressive. I want Braun to have a robust agenda dealing with taxes, primarily property taxes, but dealing with government spending, dealing with the crony capitalism. I want all of those things. I want him to come in here and have an A+ performance, and we can go, wow, that was dang great, and everybody should probably feel pretty good about what they heard there. We'll see what he does, though.
All right, well, that's Friday, 9:15 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
So real quick, just kind of how now this is going to play out, and I will get with Rainwater later today. We're going to have Braun on Friday, 9:15, and maybe, depending on how it goes, maybe we'll just open the phones up afterwards to get people's kind of live reactions during the 10 o'clock hour. I don't know. You and I can talk about that. Then we will have Rainwater on after that, so maybe it'll be Monday. I don't know. We'll get with him, get his schedule. We'll give people opportunity to have reactions on that, and then I'll take it all in, and then like a judge, I can rule when I want to rule. But then we'll have an endorsement at some point after that.
Well, you said you'd like to have Mike Braun on before August 1st, and he's doing it.
To their credit, he's coming in. He's not doing it on the phone. He'll be sitting in that chair right next to us.
Okay.
So there we go.
Something to look forward to.
No, I'm not leaving the show.
I'm excited to hear what Mike Braun has to say. People were really thinking you were leaving? Come on. Let's talk about the other governor, Eric Holcomb. He's taking a trip right now. It's an international economic development trip, and this time going to Australia and Singapore. He's working on manufacturing, defense, and energy. The travel costs for this trip are covered by the IEDC.
Well, okay, so a couple things with this. And the overarching question continues to be for the people of the state of Indiana, and then it's clear, bright, shiny objects, economic development, whatever you want to call it, has been the standard by which Holcomb and the people around him judge his entire administration. The entire 7.5 years has been judged based on how many bright, shiny objects have been erected into the air and how many corporations have come to Indiana to inhabit those bright, shiny objects. I mean, that is 90% of what he does and how he views, what he's proud of with governance is these economic development announcements. My question to you as a regular person is, what have you gotten from this? What has been produced that has made your life better? Because certain things are irrefutable. Taxes in this state are much higher than when Eric Holcomb took office. There's whether they call them fees or bananas or whatever. There's a bunch of those. Those are taxes. Your gas tax has never been higher. Your property taxes have never been higher. They have done some moderate decrease to the income tax that the average person doesn't know is even taken place. But from what you pay to the government, how has your life gotten any better under Eric Holcomb?
Well, in many cases, for many people, especially with what's going on with the LEAP project, their life has gotten uprooted.
Right. So we have seen a tangible
and irreversible change of the central Indiana landscape under Eric Holcomb. It's irreversible. It will never be able to go back. And part of what has happened as a result of all of these corporations coming here is now you have seen the once beautiful and highly productive farmland paved over for high-density housing, either through apartments or R1 housing. I forget every community is different. High-density housing development, and has that made your life better? Has the change of your community, is your community better when you look at what the communities that you live in now versus 7.5 years ago? And what was the point of all these corporations coming here if the burden Hoosiers are asked to share from an economic
Hasn't
perspective?
Changed.
Right. If it's not getting any better, then what was this all about? And I don't, like, if you asked Eric Holcomb, if you hooked him up to some sort of lie detector or truth serum or whatever, like, what is your philosophy on government? That would be fascinating what the answer would be if he has one.
The more of it, the better.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he actually has one. And this is where I talked to somebody the other day who is very well connected into what's going on in the General Assembly. And this person told me that those lawmakers over there, and this is pathetic, it's a total indictment of the lawmakers, are so excited to get Holcomb out of there because they want to they feel like they can assert some sort of authority over Braun. And I said, well, they could have done it over Holcomb. And the person said, you're right. And he said, why didn't they do that? And it was like this very weird, I don't know response. And so, look, Holcomb's a nasty person. The governor and the people surrounding him are very nasty people. And if you cross them, you end up like Curtis Hill or John Jacob or Kurt Nicely, and they will do everything in their power to throw you out. Keep in mind, they convicted Eric Holcomb and his little mod squad, convicted Curtis Hill before any of the facts had come out when he was accused of groping those women. Curtis Hill was never charged criminally. There was no ethics violations found. The lawsuits against him were thrown out. The only thing is he got a slap on the wrist from the judiciary for not, this is hilarious, not rising to those standards attorneys are supposed to rise to. But they like that. Now compare and contrast that to when you had Jim Lucas, and he admitted to this, driving drunk, driving through barricades, he fled the scene.
Wrong way down the highway.
All of these things, and yet not a peep from the governor about that. Why? Because Jim Lucas, by that point, had become a team player.
Right.
Jim Lucas
he fell in line. He was a guaranteed vote.
Jim Lucas had learned his lesson, and yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whatever. And so not a word. And that's what I'm talking about. So we don't have a legislature that's in control of the state, and that's super scary because we have a system that's set up for the legislature to be in control of the state of Indiana. So maybe Holcomb will just stay over there. I don't think we probably get that lucky.
That he won't come back. It's interesting that person said that they want to assert authority over Braun. Like, what makes them think that they can do that?
Well, they have the authority. This is what's been crazy to me about the last 7 years in this state, and especially during COVID. Remember during COVID, where these lawmakers are on social media going, this is not right. Someone should do something about this. You can do something about this. Our state is set up to where the governor has very little legislative control by design. The legislature has the policy, the legislative control. The governor's job is to enact, administrate, and where the governor ends up with his or someday probably her power is once the General Assembly convenes, then their job is to administer, and they have a lot of power in terms of how they do that. But actually setting public policy, the governor in the state has never had a lot of authority to be able to do that, and yet the General Assembly has taken none of it, and they complain about everything the guy does. It just absolutely blows my mind.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. It is Tuesday. So coming up, we're going to speak with Amy, and we're going to talk about murder that happened at Hanover College.
True Crime Tuesday.
True Crime
How
Tuesday.
exciting.
Yep, that's on the way from 93 WIBC. And 45%. Right now, you could get an upfront 45% bonus on your retirement savings and a competitive annual return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years. So if you invest $100,000, you get a $45,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $90,000 bonus.
Plus, you get an annual return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years. And get this, you'll sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Get it all the details from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. Get an upfront 45% bonus on your money and a competitive return that's averaged 7% for the past 10 years.
These rates aren't going to last long, so call Bill now, 317-932-9912. That number, 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
Hammer and Nigel.
One thing I'm seeing right now is the hero tour for Joe Biden. All of these same people that were taking that dagger and putting it directly into his back politically, they're the ones saying, what a great American. Oh, look at Joe Biden. He was such a great president. Well, if that was the case, then why did you just fire him?
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
We've got Amy on the line from Cold Case Chronicles. Now, Amy, tell us about Cold Case Chronicles. It's a former podcast.
It's a former podcast. Me and 3 of my friends got together and created. Started out with just some cold cases from Indiana and then started spreading through the United States. And we just started doing cold cases that people were interested in, and people started calling in and writing in and wanting us to do, and it just became a thing that spread really quickly.
Now, Amy, do you have what's your background? Because I'm always fascinated by this. Because do you have like an investigative background, or how are you doing all the research on these cold case files?
Actually, I'm a retired air traffic controller, but my master's degree is in psychology and minor in criminal justice. So I have always been fascinated with, that side of things, and I've always missed it. So I really like the investigative side, and I like digging into it, and I like the family's perspective and how they really don't get to get closure, and I feel for the families, and so I just wanted to help.
Yeah. Let's talk specifically about the case involving Herschel Chandler. Tell us about that.
Yes. So this is a case that not many people know about. It's a really old case. It's over 40 years old now. Herschel Lee Chandler was a 58-year-old security guard. He was brutally murdered over 40 years ago this past May, and it's still unsolved. He actually worked at Hanover College for about 6 years. He was really quiet, led a quiet life. Very people knew much about him and his private life, but everybody liked him. A lot of people on campus referred to him as Barney Fife, and for people that don't know who Barney Fife is, that really ages a lot of people. But on May 4th, 1984, Chandler was working the early morning hours following the evening shift that he had worked the night before. And, in the 80s, campus security involved a guy with a flashlight, basically telling kids, stop drinking, or, go inside and beat your curfew. There were no guns or tasers that he carried. He didn't even have a cell phone. So he just basically went around telling people to go back inside.
Mm-hmm.
But For this night, though, he saw something that wasn't right in the admin building. And we don't know what it was, but we know that it was probably a light that was on, or he saw a flashlight, but something drew his attention in the admin building. And what we do know is that at 4:25 in the morning, Chandler called his boss from the admin building telephone, and his boss, Wilbur Heights, but his wife answered the phone. And when she called her husband to the phone, she said that she heard a loud thump, and then she never could get him to answer the phone again. Now, if you were on the phone and you heard someone that had called you at 4:25 a.m. and you heard a loud thump and you could not get them to react, no, they weren't talking to you any longer, what would you do? I mean, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
Right, you'd call 911, I would think. At least that'd be my first reaction. Hey, something's wrong here. I better alert the authorities.
Exactly. I mean, we're not talking about a time when there was a lot of murder podcasts or murder shows back in the early 80s, but that's like Murder 101, right?
Hey, we still had unsolved mysteries. I watched Robert Stack. I would know that this is the time where I call 911 and say, hey, something's going on here.
Yes. I just think that that's common sense. And they didn't live 20 miles from campus. They lived on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a long way to go.
Amy joining us from Cold Case Chronicles. Now, police said that there were, and we're talking about this murder of Herschel Chandler from Hanover College dating back years, but police said that there were indications that there was a struggle between Chandler and somebody who broke into one of the buildings.
Right. And they're saying they broke in because there was a window that was messed up on the bottom floor. Now, something was obviously wrong if he called them at 4 a.m., but at 7:10 in the morning, this is how he was discovered. At 7:10 that morning, Hanover's president, Dr. John Horner, arrived at the school, and a few minutes later, the janitor came in his office to tell him something was wrong and something had happened in the business office. And the janitor also called Mr. Heights, which was that boss, and they waited on him, and the three of them went in and found Mr. Chandler. Now, the crime itself, Mr. Chandler was beaten so badly that he had a skull fracture.
Mm-hmm.
He was stabbed in the face and neck. His throat was split. His fingers were fractured. His thumbnail was bent off backward. The crime scene went through 2 offices. He fought so hard to live. The crime scene pictures were so gruesome, and it was so bad. And he was only 5'7" and 145 pounds. He was a super slight man and almost 60 years old. So it wasn't like he was a huge guy to be fighting, but he fought hard. And there were drawers pulled out, chairs knocked out. It was a huge fight. And what was so bad that this had to occur?
Well, it looks like not only was the room in a disarray, but the combination dial on the office safe had been knocked off. Was there something in the safe that a burglar was trying to get to?
There was nothing in the safe. They didn't even really keep that much money in the safe. The safe wasn't even open because they couldn't get to it. But the key thing about in the crime scene photos was the blood was everywhere. But where the combination dial and everything was knocked off on the safe, there was not a single amount of blood.
Like it had been wiped off?
It not even wiped off, but like if that were the case, if they had tried to do that beforehand, then why kill him? You already saw that there was nothing in there. If he came in and interrupted it and he was on the phone calling someone, then just run out.
Amy is joining us from Cold Case Chronicles. Did authorities ever disclose any suspects?
No. So this is the interesting thing about that. Why isn't it solved, right? Why aren't they talking about it? Well, it was investigated by Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, Hanover Police, and Indiana State Police, as well as the prosecutor's office. And it eventually landed in Indiana State Police lap. Indiana State Police won't even talk about it. They won't even talk about it with their own people. And there's a lot of hush-hush going on about it. No one that was there that day will talk about it. The few people that are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they will talk amongst themselves and tell each other not to talk about it. And that's very peculiar to me. The police would like to tell you, or have told me, a few of them anyway, that they believe James Kelly, who was convicted in North Dakota of murder and ended up dying in a state prison in Nevada in 2020, they would like to say that he did it. But he was never convicted for it. And in fact, he never even did trial. And they want to say that, well, he was already serving a life sentence for murder in North Dakota, so it wouldn't be worth the money to bring him back here and try him. That's not how it works.
Yeah. Chandler's murder believed to be the first and only homicide on the campus at Hanover College in its, 100-plus year history. Amy, where can people listen to more of your podcast, Cold Case Chronicles, if they'd like to?
On any podcast platform.
Okay.
And there isn't nothing on my podcast about Herschel Chandler. People need to really push for this. People need to write in, call in, find out, ask their police, write into congressmen, find out why this is not investigated. There is DNA. They took hair samples from his hands. He had hair in his hands because he fought. They took blood samples. Why is this not tested for DNA? Somebody knows. They had a student question that was a relative of an ambassador who had him leave the state because, there's just something not right about it. There's a cover-up involved, and people have told me there's a cover-up involved and that it could be solved. Test the DNA.
Thank you for sharing with us the story. Her name is Amy from Cold Case Chronicles. We appreciate your time this morning, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Sinus pressure, congestion, snoring, being unable to sleep, being unable to breathe. Yep, it's another sinus infection. You've Googled, watched videos, tried over-the-counter sprays, medications, and home remedies, but nothing ever works. There must be some kind of treatment that can help, right? Indianapolis Sinus Center understands how draining it can be when you try treatment after treatment without any relief. That's why they've been serving and treating the community for over 50 years. Indianapolis Sinus Center has performed thousands of procedures and helped thousands of patients find lasting relief they didn't know was possible. Patients like you. If you've had enough of sinus pain, pressure, and congestion, schedule a visit with Indianapolis Sinus Center today. Call 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward breathing easy. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650 or visit IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She has the numbers. It's sunny and 79 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Vice President Kamala Harris has reeled in enough delegates to receive the presidential nomination from the Democratic Party. On Monday, Harris received a flurry of endorsements and secured over 1,900 delegate endorsements. Her campaign received over $81 million in contributions as well in the first 24 hours of Biden's announcement that he would be exiting the race. A Florida mom who is also a school employee will be learning the fate of her job today. Fox's Eben Brown.
The school board in Broward County, Florida, the Fort Lauderdale area, could vote to fire Jessica Norton, an information specialist at a high school where her teen child was a student and was on the girls' volleyball team, but who is biologically male. This violates a state law requiring school athletes play on teams according to biological sex.
They destroyed her high school career and her lifelong memories and experiences.
Norton using female pronouns for her child. In Broward County, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
It's almost here. The best days of summer return this August with your 2024 Indiana State Fair. Join us for endless fun, where there's something for everyone. Take a stroll and enjoy your favorite traditions, or enjoy one of the many new additions. This year, we're celebrating the art and nature of fun, presented by Newfields. Grab discount tickets today at indianastatefair.com. 15 magical days full of fun. Returns August 2nd through 18th. Closed Mondays. Plan your trip today and save big. See you at the fair.
Pierce Jewelers is the best family-owned jewelry store in Carmel. All jewelry and watch repair, appraisals, and custom design are done in-house. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You can trust your flush to us. Howald Plumbers are the best in the business. Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
317-684-8444. That's the phone number if you'd like to participate. It is your favorite portion of the program where we turn it over to you and hear your voicemails with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So, Rob, you know, we have a fan.
Oh.
We have a fan who likes
Singular.
We have a fan who likes to call and leave multiple voicemails all the time. Rarely does he get on the air, but I thought that he did have something worthy to say today. So it's a very short voicemail, but we're going to give him his time in the sun.
Hey, you guys are so cute.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
we're cute.
Hot dang.
Feel like the reindeer from Rudolph the Red. I'm cute.
Yeah.
I'm cute. Okay, somebody wanted to call and give us their hot take on Kamala Harris.
Yeah, listen to all this stuff about Kamala Harris. I have one or two thoughts. First of all, I think they're going to probably nominate her just to say that they tried. Put her up there and say, you know, we ran a black woman for president. And knowing that they're going to lose gives them time for the next 4 years to, as you guys have been saying all day, groom the next head of the party. And that's just, you know, that's just my take on it. Thanks.
Okay, well, it is being reported that she did secure enough delegates to become the Democrat nominee. Presumptive. Of course, they're going to have to officially vote on this, but all the delegates from California, her home state, said, yep, we're with her. So it seems that she will be the nominee for the party.
Isn't it? I mean, okay, so again, let's just roll through the timeline. And Merritt and I kind of did this yesterday. Like, one thing that's kind of an anomaly, you go, oh, that's a heck of a coincidence. But when you start getting 4 or 5 or 6 things that are happening in a row, so like, let's review again the timeline of what has transpired here. And you tell me if you think this is all just a big happy accident. All right, so you got late June, Biden goes on that debate stage, can't string coherent sentences together. He freezes. He's mumbling. He's saying words that don't go together. Then you've got 2 weeks later, you've got an assassination attempt on the life of Donald Trump by some kid who you can't find him on the internet. He has no seemingly outward political ideology whatsoever. I mean, he was a registered Republican, whatever that means, but he gave one time to a Democrat group $15. Somehow this kid goes to another city, somehow finds the one unsecured area in a building that law enforcement was in anyway. He is seen as it came out yesterday, seen as a suspicious person well in advance of the shooting taking place. There's people literally begging law enforcement to do something who see this guy well in advance and nothing takes place. And now he's got these various accounts that are coming out. Okay, so then there's that. Then you've got Biden supposedly getting COVID after in early July there was supposedly a medical issue. Then supposedly gets COVID, yet right before he announced he had COVID, he was seen in Las Vegas basically glad-handing with people, looking 100% completely fine. Then Biden disappears. No one has seen him. They have heard from him now, allegedly, but no one has seen him. And now Kamala Harris instantaneously clears the field and becomes the front runner for president on the Democrat side, despite winning literally zero votes the last time she ran for president because she didn't even make it to Iowa.
Within 24 hours, keep in mind.
Right.
She did that.
Does this make sense? First of all, if anybody would like to dispute the timeline I just laid out there, please let us know. I'd welcome that criticism. But I don't think you can, because that is the timeline and that is what happened. Does this make any sense? Oh, and by the way, you got Biden not showing up for Netanyahu, which you and Jim talked about in early in hour one. You've got Biden now transferring essentially almost war powers to the Secretary of State. Does this make sense? And no one has still seen Joe Biden. Does that make sense to anyone?
It's been predetermined. This was all laid out before any of this.
Right.
They knew before we knew.
Right. So now you have an entire process, which it is sort of like 2020 all over again, in the sense of, hey, Biden loses Iowa. Hey, Biden loses New Hampshire. Hey, Biden, thanks to Clyburn, wins South Carolina. Oh, now everyone, Buttigieg and Klobuchar, and everyone's dropping out and endorsing Biden at the same time. Well, now it's like, well, if you wanted to keep the process controlled as to ensuring a Bernie Sanders, which is exactly what it was like in 2016 when they rigged the thing against him with Hillary, exactly what it was like in 2020 when they rigged the thing against him, against Biden. If you wanted to ensure you knew the outcome, the easiest way to do this would let it play out until the very end and then magically have Biden step aside. Boy, isn't that a coincidence how it all just kind of played out perfectly, Casey?
Biden polled in 2016 so that Hillary could run. Biden polled in 2024 so Kamala Harris can run.
The real question, though, is who's running the country. Like, this is the most important thing right now, is who is in charge of our nation, because no person can honestly tell you Joe Biden is in charge of the nation. Our closest ally in the entire Middle East, their leader is here.
And nobody's meeting with him.
Right.
Well, Donald Trump apparently is going
to.
to.
Right, but I'm saying nobody from the actual administration. You've got Biden transferring powers related to Ukraine over to the Secretary of State. Nobody has seen Biden in many, many days. The only audio that we've heard from Biden is some slurry.
Where it sounded like Harris was about to say, on the recording, and she stopped herself and said on the call.
Well, and she's such an idiot that, who knows, that she may have been stupid enough to actually say that and forget. But also, now there seems to be a more and more prevailing theory, and by the way, she's a little nutty, but Laura Loomer called this a long time ago.
Yes.
That Biden did indeed have some sort of medical issue in Las Vegas, that it is alleged that traffic was
diverted in Las Vegas.
And then they determined apparently that whatever the thing was, they could get him back home to deal with it, and he hasn't been seen since. That is unbelievable because, again, they said, well, these people were in the room with him when he made the decision to quit. Well, wait a second. He has COVID, and you're, hanging? That sounds like a super spreader event to me if there ever wasn't. Nobody believes any of this, Casey. And then when you throw in the middle of this soup the fact that this kid, who nobody can find almost anything about, tries to kill Donald Trump in the middle of it, there is something really, really bizarre going on in this country right now.
Here's another phone call. This one is about, you must have mentioned Oliver at some point yesterday.
Oliver?
Yeah. From the Brady Bunch?
Oh, yeah. We, why was that? Oh, you know the thing. We do so much great radio. Maybe this person will refresh my memory of why we mentioned Oliver.
Well, here's a call.
Rob, you made an egregious mistake on Monday that needs to be corrected. Oliver was not adopted by the Partridge family. He was the son of Carol Brady's brother, and he stayed with the Bradys when his parents traveled to South America for an archaeological dig.
I'm glad we're focusing on the important things.
Who's the one? What was the Bonaducci character on the Partridge Family? Wasn't there a?
He was just one of the sons.
No.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one that showed up on the Partridge Family at the end where it was like, hey, the show has jumped the shark because now whatever? I don't know. You know the thing. I mean, come on. I don't even know why I said that anymore. I've had so much going on, and I haven't been able to eat because I had to get that. I have to get blood drawn. So it's just.
Oh, you were fasting. You should go get one of the granola bars.
I can't. I have to go get the thing done when I get off the air here.
I'd like to share with us. With everyone this
you everybody about
letter that we. So this is a very nice card. And it says, Casey, thank you for coming to Indie Radio. You have provided many hours of entertainment. I appreciate your talent. I've taken a day to think before sending this message. The events of the weekend were very disturbing. She's talking about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
By the way, for those of you who can't see us on the YouTube, this is like the nicest looking card ever. It's a woman with, are those flowers?
Yeah, she riding a bike.
Yeah, she's just like, it's the most gleeful card ever. Okay, go ahead.
She says, I can listen to opposing opinions, but today, Rob was over the top with his remarks about J.D. Vance. Rob says he was different in his younger years. Can others not change? Today, I have decided to take a recess from the Kendall and Casey show for a while. I wish you well. And that's from Sarah.
So let me get this straight. You're so mad that I had the audacity to say that I would not team up with someone who called me Hitler. And while you might be able to do business with some guy who compared you to Hitler, that I wouldn't want that person as my right-hand man. You're so enraged by that you're quitting the show.
She'll be back. But it was a nice card that she sent. However, is that what we're doing now? Announcing it like it's an airport?
Yeah.
We're departing?
Well, but okay, so it comes out, what are we doing here, Casey? Merritt and I had this conversation yesterday. What are we doing? We are our site is becoming what we used to despise in the sense of any free form of thought or critical analysis or thing that doesn't fit into the echo chamber. We're not going to stay and fight about it anymore. We're out.
Loyalty at all costs.
You can't even have it. And it's not like that's some radical opinion. Hey, the guy compared me to Hitler. I probably wouldn't want to do business with him. Like there are some people that are so embedded or wed or whatever word you want to use to an idea. It's not even a thing. There's nothing about J.D. Vance's background that would lead you to believe, he doesn't have 20 years of rock solid conservatism or, liberty-minded votes that you would say, hey, it's Rand Paul or Ron Paul, or, the guy made one mistake, but look at his there's nothing. All you have to go off of is his words, and it wasn't all that long ago that he compared the guy to Hitler, and I simply said, well, you might be able to work with him as a senator. I wouldn't want him as my running mate, and at least we cost her a postage stamp.
So J.D. Vance, he had that rally in Middletown. Was that yesterday? Yeah, where he was saying that he really wanted the opportunity to debate Kamala Harris, and she has no loyalty to America. And he went on to say that George Soros and Barack Obama were the ones who were picking the Democrat, nominee in a smoke-filled room, and it was not decided by any voters or anyone in the American public. It was this deep state who's deciding it.
All right, we got to take a break. Hammer had a brilliant idea last night in our little text thread that we've got to discuss with him. Also, I got to figure out, I feel like I'm doing the thing again where I'm merging two things. Remember I did this a while ago?
Yeah, your memory's getting fuzzy.
Where there's two things, because I'm certain there was somebody on one of these stupid shows in the 70s that was adopted, but maybe it's the same mistake I made before. Of things.
Well, I'll look up the Partridge Family during the break.
Maybe
okay?
it is the Brady Bunch. Maybe that guy was right. Maybe I'm doing the thing.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Are you not entertained? It's the Hammer and Nigel show. We crack the mic at 3:06. We go until 7. And with this news cycle, you have no idea what's coming up next. We're going to give you the biggest updates. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. Join us this afternoon. 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, July 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, July 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Right now, Universal Windows Direct, they're backing up their work with a true lifetime warranty. And what that means is it's for as long as you own the home and 20 years to the next home owner. Plus, you call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. You're going to get 0% financing for 36 months. That's 3 years. Oh, yeah, and on top of that, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit on that. And if it sounds too good to be true, wait. There's more. Right now, when you call today, 317-659-7574, Universal Windows Direct is going to take $250 off your project just for saying Rob Kendall from WIBC told me to call. So, true lifetime warranty, buy 2, get 2 free, 0% financing for 36 months, and $250 off your project. Now, some restrictions apply, so to get all the information, call Universal Windows Direct today. 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now at 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. That's 800-810-1820.
Fox, CNN, other news sources are reporting home prices are expected to decline into 2025, even after the election. Maximize your home sales price now before this downturn with the agent proven to sell for top dollar, Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Tom and Kim from Sharpeville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We were wanting to move to Florida and looking to sell our home. We wanted to sell quick with an agent who would maximize the sales price. After being approached by Mark Dietel's team, we knew they were right for us. It was incredible. Mark sold our home on the first day at full price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details. Or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Life's full of unexpected joys, like problems with water. That's why there's Michaelis, a crew of 24/7 experts who are rescue ready, day or night, one phone call, for a gazillion disasters. Over 3 decades of restoring your home or business to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture Mattress in Columbus. Are you in need of a new mattress, sofa, sectional, recliner, lift chair, even a big green egg? If so, then you're in luck. Now through Monday, it's our Made in the USA sale. We guarantee you the best price, best service, and free delivery on everything from Smith Brothers, Lazy Boy, Stearns & Foster, Pollywood, and more. Lowest prices of the year now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program, Jason Hammer joins us in the studio. Good morning.
Let's play around to Hit the Post.
Okay.
We haven't done this in a long time. This is the game where we play a popular song that's been on the radio a million times, and as a classic music DJ, you will talk until the music, the lyrics hit, and then you got to stop. It's called Hitting the Post.
Right.
Casey, you're really good at this, so you're going to go first.
Okay.
The song I've chosen for you is from friend of the show, Bret Michaels and Poison.
Okay.
It's Talk Dirty to Me.
All right.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. My name is Casey. Breaking news, Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle is resigning. This after getting grilled on Capitol Hill yesterday. Plus, Indiana Democrats, they support Harris. All that and more coming up on 93 WIBC.
Yeah!
That's really good.
Dude, that's a boss right there.
That's really good.
That is really good. Now,
Thank
Rob,
you.
you stink at this.
I'm horrible. I don't even know why you're having me do this.
Because we like to humiliate you and laugh at you.
Well, I haven't eaten in a long time, and I've
Had you had 8 Big Macs, it wouldn't have made a difference. All right, the song you're going to do is from Tom Petty. I try to put these at least in genres, types of music that you like.
Yeah.
This is Running Down a Dream. Are you ready?
Yeah,
here we go.
All right, 93 WIBC. I stink at this game. Hammer just does this to thoroughly humiliate me. He is a very small human being. He feels better about himself when he rips on me, and there we go.
Oh, God. Boo!
I don't know. I stink at this game.
Boo!
I told you, it's unfair because the entire time I've been in radio, there was always one of those charts. I don't know how they did it in the 60s, but they always had one of those charts that would tell you when you had to be out by, and I could hit the post if I had the little bar graph telling me when I had to be done by.
You know what, Rob? Even the best basketball players, they know when the shot clock is going to go off. They're not looking at
There's
the
an
clock.
eternal clock when the game is on the line, when it's winning time. All right, I'm going to batter up here. I'm going to do a little Aerosmith with Run DMC.
Oh.
Okay.
93 WIBC, it is the Hammer and Nigel Show. Kimberly Cheadle, Secret Service Director. She is gone. She is donezo. She is out. We will have more on that coming up in just a little bit. Plus, what do we know about Joe Biden's whereabouts? We got a lot of stuff to get to this afternoon, but right now, you are rolling through 9 songs in a row here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Here's a little Run DMC for you.
That's really good.
Nice. There we go. There we go.
Now, I know time's a factor, so we're going to skip to a ringer.
Oh.
Kurt Darling from the WIBC newsroom is here. Now, last time we played this game, Kurt and I had a conversation in the hallway, and Kurt was just bragging. He was so cocky about his skills on how to hit a post because you used to do this in, what, high school?
Yeah, so I went to the Ben Davis Career Center in high school, and so we had this thing called the Postmaster General Competition.
Oh.
And so
taxpayer-funded radio over here. There's your tax dollars
Save
at
some
work.
chicks for the rest of us.
Actually, we did most of our fundraising, Rob. But anyway, So, yeah, but it was an elimination-style tournament where the person who failed to hit the post would be eliminated and the last man standing won. So
okay. So since you were
I did win.
So over the top, so cocky, so arrogant, I gave you a challenging song. This is a song that starts with lyrics, very dry, and then the music kicks in. I want you to hit the post after the original lyrics and before the second round.
Okay.
Okay?
Fill the donut.
The song I'm choosing for you is a 90s hit from Right Said Fred. It's I'm Too Sexy.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave.
I'll tell you what, something sexy is the fact that Kamala Harris raised $83 million in 24 hours after President Biden ended up dropping out of the race. That's certainly something that is crazy. But you know what's not crazy? Free tickets to Colts training camp. Be sure to check that out as it is...
Boo! He's still alive, but John Easter's rolling around in his grave right now.
You do realize I was in high school in the late 2000s, right?
Oh, now you're walking it back.
Wait a minute.
Now we're walking it back.
I had a Poison song that was from the 80s, Kurt.
Well, yeah, Poison's easy.
Uh-huh. Okay.
He gave you an easy one.
Oh, okay.
You gave me a challenging one. So
we need to have Rob versus Kurt in the play-in round in Dayton, Ohio, before the next time we do a round of Hit the Post.
I'd be happy to join.
Like Weber State against, I don't know, who's bad? Marion. What's coming up this afternoon?
So all those things we said about the Secret Service director are true. She has resigned. You guys will talk about that. We'll talk about that. You never know what the news cycle might bring, but I do know we're going to have caller roulette this afternoon, so let's have a good time.
Thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Summer storm season is in full swing here in Indiana. The rain, the wind, the madness of it all. When the next storm hits and causes wind and hail damage, there's no need to worry. Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com is here to help with all your roofing and siding repairs every single time. See, they did the joke again. I love that. Moss Roofing offers free inspections and expertly guides customers through the often frustrating insurance process to ensure the best experience possible. That's why Moss Roofing is your trusted Indianapolis roofing and siding contractor. Talk to Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Cat sent you. 317-747-3665. Your roofing and siding professional is just one phone call away. Moss Roofing, 747-3665 or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
Coming up in 2 minutes, it's a trial for a man accused of killing nearly his entire family. Plus, what Hoosier Democrats have next to now as President Biden is out of the race. And it's time for a very tasty week in Indianapolis. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News on 93 WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
This is a Fox News alert. The Secret Service director has just resigned. I'm Dave Anthony. Kimberly Cheadle answering growing calls from lawmakers after the Trump assassination attempt. Democratic Congressman Lou Correa just told Fox.
The resignation of the commissioner fixes absolutely nothing. We've got to drill down and make sure things are working effectively.
President Biden just put out a statement praising Director Cheadle for decades of public service, adding, what happened July 13th can never happen again. And for a second day in a row, there's a House hearing into the Trump assassination attempt. Homeland Security Committee Chair Mark Green, a Republican, visited the rally site in Butler, Pennsylvania yesterday and said he saw where the gunman was perched.
And after several of our committee members climbed on the roof, let me tell you, any excuse about the roof being too steep to post a counter sniper team up there is pure nonsense.
The House is setting up a bipartisan task force to investigate the assassination attempt. Former President Trump, whose ear was grazed, and thanks God the gunman just missed, posted on Truth Social The Biden-Harris administration did not properly protect him, and he was forced to take a bullet for democracy. His new Democratic opponent, Vice President Harris, the presumptive nominee after the Biden dropout, will hold her first rally in Milwaukee today, where Fox's Alexis McAdams reports.
It's only a few hours until Kamala Harris is set to be here, and there's like 20 people outside here of this field house. But she's ready to be here in Wisconsin, the VP says, because it's a very important state taking the lead on this campaign.
Delta is grounding another 400-plus flights today, still affected by Friday's global tech outage, and the Department of Transportation has just opened an investigation.
While most airlines have returned to normal operation, Delta has canceled more than 5,000 flights since Friday. Delta apologizing to customers, its CEO stressing the company is working around the clock to get this operation where it needs to be, adding it hopes to make it right with offers to impacted travelers.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He faces a jury. It's 80 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A man accused of murdering his mother, father, sister, brother, and his brother's pregnant girlfriend in 2021 is standing trial this week for the several murder charges he faces.
We believe that the evidence will show that we are here today based on a misidentification and a misguided investigation.
Defense attorneys for Raymond Childs III, who is pleading not guilty in the case, despite one of his other brothers surviving the shooting and fingering Childs as the killer. A person was killed in a plane crash late Monday in Benton County. The NTSB and FAA are looking into why the single-engine plane went down in a rural part of the county, not far from Oxford. Now that President Biden has dropped out of the 2024 race, the Indiana Democratic Party has to go back to the drawing board. Donnie Burgess explains.
The state Democratic Party already endorsed the Biden-Harris ticket during the party's state convention July 13th. After President Biden's announcement Sunday, the state Democratic Party has now endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. But the national ticket is not set in stone. The Indiana Secretary of State's office says Indiana Democrats have until September 10th to finalize their picks for president and vice president. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A Southport police officer recovering after a fentanyl exposure during a drug investigation with Indy Metro Police. Police Chief Ton Vaughn tells WIBC's Hammer and Nigel his officers carry extra Narcan, but if you've never experienced or rather been exposed to Narcan, then it's hard to tell what's happening.
You start feeling kind of weird. You know, you start kind of getting kind of like tunnel vision. You know, everything starts kind of closing in. You start breathing heavier. Your heart rate goes up. So he started realizing those things and knew that he was in trouble.
Chief Vaughn says his officers are running into fentanyl cases multiple times a week. Indianapolis Burger Week is underway. Monday kicked off the festivities, and it's 7 days of $7 burger deals across the Circle City. Over 20 restaurants are participating with deals through Sunday. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere, but the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 5 minutes after 11. That's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and the Secret Service Director, Kim Cheadle, is resigning. This after getting grilled on Capitol Hill yesterday. She failed to keep the presidential nominee safe, and it took 10 days to come to this decision. She should have felt honor-bound to resign before this, and if not her, then President Biden should have felt honor-bound to fire her. He didn't do that either.
Well, okay, let's start with Biden. Nobody knows if Biden even knows where he's at or what's going on right now. I mean, so then that is very scary that the president of the United States, nobody really knows the state of his health, his mental health, where he's at, what he's doing. You have no idea. You have not seen this guy. You don't know if he actually wrote that resignation letter. I mean, so that's its own little cup of soup, and whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, apathetic, independent, whatever, that should really concern you. That nobody knows anything about the president of the United States' health and mental condition right now. However, the question that I would love to ask her right now is, why did you put yourself through that yesterday if you were going to resign today?
Do you think she thought it wasn't going to be as bad as it was?
Well, I think, and we were talking with Hammer about this during the break, I think our country is so partisan now, and this is really an indictment of the government, that we are so partisan now that even though this was a colossal failure, and nobody kid themselves, this was a colossal failure. It's not that the guy got the shot off. It's the guy was able to get the shot off because of their failure, her failure. And that's where all this comes in. Sometimes things just happen, and no matter how hard you try to prevent them or how many bases you think you have covered, that you just something happens. This was not one of those. It's very clear. It's gross negligence. It's incompetence, and she should have been dismissed much quicker than she was. But I think because she believed that our country is so partisan now, that she was going to get some form of cover from the Democrats because they hate Trump so much that they would even cover for her role, and by role I mean her inability to properly secure the area in an assassination attempt. I'm not implying she was involved in the assassination attempt. I'm saying in her inability, her incompetence, the people that she put in charge, their inability to do it, resulted in an attempt of assassination on Donald Trump. And I think she maybe in her mind thought, well, I'm going to get, because it's a closely divided House and the country's so divided and these people hate Trump so much that I'll get enough firepower from them or enough distraction from them, or they'll cover for my filibustering enough that I'll be able to outplay this thing, to steal a line from Survivor. And I think to her surprise, she didn't get that yesterday.
Well, if Donald Trump had been killed, she would have most likely been out instantly. And instead, she was able to go in front of that hearing and say things like it's an ongoing investigation. Of course, this decision is coming after Nancy Mace moved to force a full House vote to impeach her. And of course, they were calling for bipartisan calls for her to resign. But this after Nancy Mace just completely grilled her yesterday with a series of yes and no questions.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question, yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible...
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure, yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable, yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent, yes or no?
I have always been
yes or no. You didn't want to answer the question.
Committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political, yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bull. So, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, though,
Yeah.
okay? Because I heard it in real time, and it's not Tony's fault, but it was on Tony's show, and it went out on the air.
Mm-hmm.
You're a United States representative, and you can't act professional and not swear. Give me a break, okay? These people in Congress, and I'm talking about both sides of the aisle, are some of the most incompetent screw-ups who couldn't run or do anything if their life depended on it, and yet they always lord over other people with some sort of smug superiority. Now, look, this Secret Service Cheadle, the head of the Secret Service, she should be fired or she should quit, and she did. Everybody knows it was a screw-up. It's unforgivable in terms of the sense of her job. It almost resulted in the death of Donald Trump, and there's no excuse for it. But the way these people in Congress, who look at how they run this country, look at how Nancy Mace and the Republicans have run the House of Representatives the past year and a half, for her to sit in some superiority or smugness or lording over anyone else and judging the competency of anyone else, give me a break. Our entire government is broken because of people like Nancy Mace and people in the House of Representatives. And they're every bit the screw up that woman is. Their screw up just didn't almost result in the death of Donald Trump. I heard that in real time, and I thought the audacity of this woman and the audacity of these House members to act as though they are in any way any more competent or better than this woman is simply disgusting.
When she was asked who approved the security plan for the Trump rally, she couldn't give an answer. And it's most likely because we've talked many times, the Secret Service has a multi-billion-dollar budget. And as director of the Secret Service, she's probably spending much more time on budgetary things and hiring and firing of high-level employees rather than dealing with the actual field offices who are in charge of the security. But she, has to be involved at some point. I'm curious who she's resigning to.
Well, that's a great
Is she
question.
resigning to Mayorkas? And who's filling that position? Is it an assistant director who's now being elevated?
Here's the other thing, Casey. Our government is wholly incompetent. Period. Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Your federal government is wholly incompetent. Your state government is wholly incompetent. This is not some new thing. Government by design, by creation, by existence, it is not designed to be efficient or effective. Government is designed to grow and keep eating everything in its path. If you look at governments throughout human history, that is where they end up. This is not a Cheadle thing. She's just one minor blade of grass in the entire very large yard, right? There's people like her all over the place in positions of authority. Now, there are many fine people who work in the government. There are many fine people who work very hard. Let me give you an example, Casey, a real world example of this. Out in front of my house right now, the town of Brownsburg, after 45 years, is finally replacing the sidewalks. Those guys that are out working on those sidewalks today have done a hell of a job. It looks very nice. They've done great work. The workers are doing fine. But you know what it took after 45 years and how many times I've had to bitch about those sidewalks to finally get it? I finally had to convince the people to make the choice on that. Hey, kids walk down that sidewalk every single day from school, and someone is going to tragically get hit or trip and hurt themselves because the sidewalks were literally non-existent anymore. And I've been at this for years and years and years and years. It doesn't make government any more competent or better. Those guys who work in the street department work their ass off and do a fine job. This is a great example of that, though. The Secret Service, the workers, are fine. They're probably great patriots, many of them, great Americans, would do anything to have protected the president. But the people in charge and the system itself, the Brownsburg town government, even though the street department has done a fine job on my sidewalks and should be totally commended for it, are still the same idiots who spent $4 million on a now empty patch of grass.
Yeah.
They're the same people who can't run a splash pad and are about to spend $800,000 to redo a splash pad that just 10 years ago cost $500,000. They can't run that, but then they want to spend $20 million on an aquatic center. government is broken. Some people inside the government are great workers, and we're seeing it play out in the town of Brownsburg, and we're playing it with the Secret Service, and we see it all the time with the state of Indiana. It's not Cheadle. It's the whole system itself, Casey, that is completely broken. And until people recognize that getting rid of one individual person means absolutely nothing, it is the entire thing itself that has to be broken completely down and built back up, then we're just going to keep going through this.
She was asked if the Secret Service was political, and she said no. And they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to protect the Constitution. While they are charged with protecting individuals and buildings, they're not supposed to at least acknowledge or admit any sort of political affiliation. They can have their opinions, but they're supposed to keep them quiet because they're tasked with protecting the Constitution. But it really makes you wonder, many people are questioning what sort of, what she knew, what she didn't know. Was it intentional? She didn't know certain things. And if it was intentional that she was left in the dark about certain things, who's to say that her replacement won't be left in the dark or won't know certain things?
I'm going to ask you this question, and it's going to sound facetious, and it's not. Because right now, what happened in Pennsylvania is so bad, we simply don't know. What would be worse for our country if indeed it is revealed that it was all just incompetence and this level of incompetence, or certain people were actually in the government were actually working to kill the president?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be facetious when I ask that question, because it can only really be one of two things.
They're both bad.
Right. They're both horrific.
Yeah.
But the question is, it has to be one of those two things. Either a level of incompetence that is almost undescribable, or there was people working in the government to kill the president, the former president. You pick one. You have to pick one of these two lanes, and I don't know which one is worse.
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Joe Biden posting a statement saying he is dropping out of the race. In the statement, he did not endorse Kamala Harris. That came on X. It's in the best interest of the party and the country to focus on finishing the term. No, you got told that it was the best interest of the party and the country. What did they offer? The pressure over the last couple weeks has been intense.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends and my family at Life Church. You know, it is Tuesday. That means Sunday's going to be here before you know it. And this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, consider checking out my friends at Life Church. They're warm, they're welcoming. Life Church would love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. And you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. See for yourself why. They got campuses in Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything. LifeChurchIN.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
Or being a dog person and a cat person.
Who wants a treat? Who's a good boy?
Or like being an extrovert and an introvert.
This is so fun! I can't wait to go home!
At T-Mobile, you don't have to choose. You can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how much you can save with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, we'll pay off your locked AT&T phone up to $650, and you'll get a new 5G phone for free.
Pay off via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Free phone up to $830 via 24 monthly bill credits with qualifying plan and credit, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling to continue bill credits, or they stop and a required finance agreement balance is due. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See T-Mobile.com.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
Super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show with Rob Kendall and Casey Daniels.
I thought you can see that you're in love with each other.
On 93 WIBC.
So Elon Musk could sustain a monthly donation of $45 million to a pro-Trump super PAC for 462 years if he wanted to do that. Of course, his wealth comes and goes. It grows and shrinks on a day-to-day basis. But on the whole, on the average, 462 years is how long he could donate to Donald Trump, $45 million. He recently came out. He was doing an interview with Jordan Peterson, and he claimed that he was tricked into signing documents for his son to undergo gender transition.
This is complete crap, Casey.
I'm glad we agree on this. Let's take a listen.
I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he
that was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs.
Oh, stop.
Anyway, and so I lost my son, essentially.
Oh, stop. He's gross. He's gross, Casey. He should be ashamed of himself. He's one of the smartest, richest people in the world, and he claims he was playing stupid on if puberty blockers were going to mess up his kid?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. So he's talking about his son, Xavier, who now goes by Vivian Jenna. So he transitioned from being a boy into being a girl. So my feeling on this is more like he knew what was going on, and now he feels guilty or bad about it, or he regrets his decision, and now he's saying that he was tricked into giving consent.
Nah, here's what going on with Elon Musk. Elon Musk, he's a weirdo anyway, right? Like wasn't his kid named after a symbol or one of his kids, and he's had kids with all sorts of different women, and I mean he's we'll call him a free spirit for lack of a better term. Anyway, however, I think he in the past tried to play in whatever pool was most hippest or convenient for him. And don't forget, it's only been very recently that he came out, as being this not staunch conservative, but liberty-minded person, right? This is a guy that made a fortune in large part off government subsidies and government handouts, right? He was friends with the celebrities. He was Mr. Hip guy. And so I think he just went right along with the crowd. Casey, I went to the dermatologist today and asked a whole bunch of questions and fully understood a cream I'm going to get for my face. That ain't going to turn me into a woman.
Right.
It's a cream for my face, and I fully understood what I was taking and asked a whole bunch of questions. And by the way, that's responsible for me, much less my kid. You have the audacity to come out here and play stupid?
That you were tricked into it?
Right, turning your kid from a boy into a girl? No way. That's gross. You know what's more, that excuse is more gross than the fact that he let it happen.
So puberty blockers, they've been shown to cause long-term fertility problems, especially in boys. And his son transgendered in June of 22. And you're right. Now he's saying, I didn't understand.
Yeah, and what's he talking about? COVID, and there was a lot going on. What does COVID have to do with turning your kid from a boy to a girl? I'm trying to be mean or facetious in asking that. That's a disgusting lack of responsibility. And by the way, we were through COVID for the most part by 2022. Not that would make it any better if it had been 2020. What the hell does COVID have to do with allowing your child to transition from a boy to a girl?
And isn't that a little bit of a lack of accountability on his part to say he was tricked?
Yeah.
Like he's placing the blame on other people.
He has access to anything.
He puts
any information.
Spaceships into,
Bull.
like rockets into
Bull.
space.
And this is why when people get all on him as some sort of, freedom fighter or, the modern day, Paul Revere or whatever they want to call him for buying Twitter. He ain't that. That dude has no core ideology whatsoever, and what he's done with Twitter is wonderful, and it's been great for free speech. But the fact that he is trying to play stupid now and pass off his role in destroying that kid's life is just disgusting.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Do you want to talk about the event now, or should we get into news and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, why don't we get into news? Because somebody sent me this big event that I think I've got to go to. I think I've got to be a part of this.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. We'll do that coming up from 93 WIBC. And 45%. Right now, you can get an upfront 45% bonus on your retirement savings and a competitive annual return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years.
So, Casey, if you were to invest $100,000, you get a $45,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $90,000 bonus. Plus, PLUS, you get an annual return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years.
And get this, you'll sleep well knowing that your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. You can get all the details from Bill Demery. He's your retirement guy right here in Indy.
Yeah, get an upfront 45% bonus on your money and a competitive return that's averaged 7% a year for the past 10 years. These rates won't last long, so call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She's resigned. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle has stepped down as she has faced a lot of growing pressure from both sides of the aisle to resign following the assassination attempt on former President Trump. Cheadle testified before Congress yesterday in which she was grilled over what she called a failure to protect Trump. The feds are investigating Delta Airlines. Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says officials have opened an investigation into Delta Airlines to ensure the airline is following the law and taking care of its passengers. A Microsoft outage triggered by cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike's software update recently, grounding flights and disrupting businesses worldwide. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars are Thursday, July 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, July 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Indianapolis Northeast in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register now at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Absolute Comfort, your trusted independent American Standard Air dealer. Owner Chris Wettikin sells the ductless Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split, which is a clean and extremely energy-efficient way to heat and cool a specific area.
These systems don't run the air through the ductwork, which is where a lot of your dust and allergies and other displeasing smells come from. And maybe best of all, you're not circulating viruses throughout the home.
Find out more at AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted independent American Standard Air Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Buying a diamond has changed. There are mined and lab-grown diamonds. Pierce Jewelers carries both. Pierce can educate you and save your hard-earned money. Shop local. Shop smart. Shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Jimmy Carter is not dead. People need to stop.
So the New York Post just put an article out 14 minutes ago that says former President Jimmy Carter dead at 99.
They got hoodwinked, Casey.
But then when you go click on the article, it says page not found.
Okay, so what has happened here? Because literally just yesterday, whoever is responsible for Jimmy Carter, it came out that, hey, he's closing in on 100. It's coming up. He's doing great. He's doing much better than he was before. There was like a death watch on Jimmy Carter. And this is the part of the problem with where we're at in society now, where people cannot get real information. So there's this press release that came out when all it has is Office of Jimmy Carter logo letterhead, which is okay. Like that should be a red flag to everybody. Anyway, it's like the Biden signature not matching his real signature. And it's this big thing about Jimmy Carter has died, and then it's this tribute. But like if you read paragraph 4 here, all right, I'm going to do my best to read this because I'm doing it on my phone. Despite these successes as president all his life, President Carter considered his marriage to former Lady Rosalind Carter his life's greatest achievement. At her passing last November, President Carter said, quote, "Rosalind was a baddie. Jill, Melania, even, I can't even say that on the air, Nancy Reagan had nothing on Rosalind Carter." It's a derogatory sex term. Okay. "She was the original brat. She gave me wise guidance and encouragement when I needed it." So it's very clear, right? Like Jimmy Carter would never say that about
well,
his wife or other Ronald Reagan's wife. I mean, but the New York, it's clear like the New York Post saw this thing, thought it was real, was trying to be first, and now they took it down because they realized we got played.
Page not found. So Sunday, WAGA, which is a Fox affiliate in Atlanta, put out a piece that says Jimmy Carter remembered. And then you've got this other article that came out that says President Jimmy Carter no longer wakes up every day. Funeral plans unveiled in his final days. And so I think they're trying to be proactive on this. And somebody at the New York Post got a little carried away.
Okay, but see now here. So the problem with all of this now is, okay, and I'm not in any way trying to make light of Jimmy Carter's condition. He's a very old man, and he was a horrible president, but a very nice man. And hopefully, whenever his time comes, it's peaceful and whatever. But Jimmy Carter's death at this point is not affecting the nation in the sense of like day-to-day operations of our society are not going to be affected. Whether and I'm not trying to be crass or mean when I say that. I'm just simply saying Jimmy Carter's almost 100 years old. He has not been in public office for a long time. He's been out of public life for a long time. He's at the very best, very old and feeble. However, now you have the same group of people and cup of stew that are retweeting that or printing that now are presenting information to society on what is true about the shooter in the Trump assassination attempt, what is true about Joe Biden, what is AI and what is not. It's almost impossible to
decipher,
to get real information anymore.
Yeah.
That is just unbelievable that is in that release, and the New York Post apparently didn't even read it and went with the story.
Well, I mean, they still have the URL active. It's, NewYorkPost.com, bunch of numbers, former-president-Jimmy-Carter-dead-at-99. And when you go to that, it says, did you get lost?
Yeah, the New York Post got lost. That's who got lost.
Right. Can we talk about this Bryson DeChambeau YouTube golf video with Donald Trump?
I love this.
Could very well break the internet. They put out a teaser video. It's the next Break 50 episode dropping. So this is something that Bryson's been doing for a while. He's got nearly 900,000 followers on YouTube. He invites these massive personalities to come in and what do they just do a driving range, or do they play a full round of golf?
I think they play a round of golf. I think that's the goal, is to break 50. I think that's the name of it. Now, I got to be candid with you. I've not seen this. But Bryson DeChambeau is fascinating because he was for a long time like the Incredible King Kong. Like show up to watch DeChambeau hit the never-ending golf ball, right? How far can King Kong drive the golf ball? And then he was really unlikable as a person. He was his nickname was DeChambro. He kind of came off as this aloof weirdo. He's the guy who's all his clubs are the same length, and he is always tinkering with. I think he was like a chemistry or biology major, so he's always like tinkering with his clubs and his gear. Then he went to Live, which made him super unlikable when he left and went to Live. However, over the past 2 years, he has emerged as this wild and wacky, funny internet character. Now, he just won the U.S. Open. He's an incredible golfer on top of that. But he's really rehabbed his image and I would bet DeChambeau makes almost as much money off the stuff he does on the internet now as what he does actually
on the golf course?
Playing golf. And his stuff is wildly popular. He's clearly a very big Republican. He loves Donald Trump. He's associated with him or tweeted about him on multiple things. And now Trump is going to appear on this program that DeChambeau does with him on YouTube.
Okay, so Trump's golf game, of course, that's been a major talking point for years now, but it's come up to the forefront of conversation again after that debate with Joe Biden. And DeChambeau, he's got his most watched video was when it was a match between him and Phil Mickelson, and it was uploaded like 11 months ago. It's already picked up over 3 million views. And so now I think that this video with Trump is going to definitely top the 3 million views, like within 24 hours.
Well, he's done some funny stuff too. Like he played a round of golf with clubs from like the 1920s, the Woodhead, persimmon drivers, and he dressed up like a guy from the 20s and played. So this will be wildly popular. He's hilarious and will be a very, very, very well viewed endeavor.
So they've been putting out a bunch of teaser videos on this, and they haven't announced exactly when it's going to drop though. So that'll be fun to watch.
Casey, I think we have something I have to go to.
Oh, right. We need to talk about that.
So a very high-profile politician sent this to me and is basically egging me on to go do this. it looks like our old pal Spendingburg is going to be back in Hendricks County. Our old pal, the Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young.
Is he going back to the pancakes, Stack's Pancakes?
First of all, for those of you who are new to the program, we call Todd Young the Duke of Spendingburg because he is not only the highest spending Republican in the United States Senate, he is almost the highest spending member of the United States Senate, up to and including Bernie Sanders. This guy has zero respect for your money and what went into you earning it, and he is willing to print as much money as necessary, and he don't care at all how that affects you and your family and your pocketbook. So what we do on this show, again, I know we have a lot of new people tuning in. We give the politicians nicknames from time to time to tell them what we think of them, and Todd is the Duke of Spendingburg. Now, also for our new people, Todd and I had a very famous interaction at the Stack's Pancake House, Spendingburg, whatever we're calling him today, a couple years ago, where he emphatically told me he didn't care that he had added whatever at the time it was, $11 trillion to the nation's debt, and he was never stopping. And many people saw this. They verified the account that I tell on the show. And then at some point, for some unknown reason, started moving very aggressively towards me. I was stuck in a booth with my wife, and I don't know what he thought was going to happen, what I was going to bow up and get into a fist fight with a U.S. senator at the Stack's Pancake. What was crazy about that, though, was two things. One, they banned everybody from videotaping him. And then as soon as he started moving aggressively towards me, and again, Casey will back up, this account has been verified by many people who were in attendance that day at the Stack's Pancake House. I know people think it's shtick or I'm making things up or whatever. You have heard from people who were there. Yes. Rob is telling the truth. Multiple people, many who don't know each other. The Igor, the evil, awful assistant, Igor, started filming the thing. I don't know what...
You're not allowed to film, but they are.
That's correct, yes. And for some reason, Todd, did you know he's a Marine?
Yes, I've heard that.
He was in the Marines.
I've heard that.
And he's a big, tough 2A guy, Marine guy. He had to have some armed, burly sheriff's deputy standing behind him the whole time. Anyway, so... now, somebody sent this to me. Spendingburg is going to be in Danville August the 16th at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds for pastries with the politicians. That's what they're calling this.
Sounds delicious.
Come join a fireside chat with Senator Todd Young. Now, I was going to go to that thing Braun had in Carmel when it was him and old Walter McGuire when Braun was trying to jam her down the delegates' throats. But that was all the way in Carmel. That was way out of my way.
Yeah.
This is in
doable.
my way.
Okay, I have a couple questions about this.
I think I got to go to this.
First of all, did it really say fireside chat?
It says pastries with politicians. Come join a fireside chat with Senator Todd Young, hosted by Hendricks County Chamber's Public Policy Committee. Seating limited. Boy, I bet like 7 people would want to be there.
It's a hot ticket.
If you subject yourself to Todd Young for an hour, you should be able to write that off on your taxes as charitable giving.
It's August 16th.
That's a Friday.
I get what they're trying to do with the whole fireside chat, the whole FDR thing. It's August. You're going to be sitting fireside?
Yeah. I'm going to hope there's going to be it's going to
be pastries.
I got to go to this, right?
Go. Absolutely. What would you want to ask him? Because the last time you were going to ask him about the spending.
I did.
Same thing?
Well, I mean, obviously, in August, whatever, 16th is a month.
By the fire.
Yeah, by the fire. It's a long time from now. Who knows what condition the world will be in. But I mean, I actually got something good out of, other than
you got something bad. You were told that he's going to keep spending.
Well, but we got the clear answer from him that he's fully aware of the money he's spending. He simply does not care.
Yeah.
Because the argument with Spendingburg from his defenders is, well, COVID, right? Not that, I guess they don't understand how egregious what Todd and the Republicans and the Democrats did during COVID was. But it's like, this dude had racked up $6 or $7 trillion in debt pre-COVID. I'm going to have to do the math on what Spendingburg's at. Now, I bet Spendingburg is at $15 or $16 trillion he's voted to add to the nation's debt since he's been there since 2017.
You should ask him, because he has not endorsed Donald Trump. You should ask him if he plans to remain within the Republican Party.
Yeah, it'd be a good question. So Igor, one of the other great things that came out of me going to Stack's Pancake House that day was Igor, his evil, awful assistant, admitted they listen every day. So Igor, you save me a seat. Casey and I are already getting it down. We can have Jim come in and cover for me for that hour that I'm going to be gone. And I'm going to go the 16th. I'm going to get me an RSVP here. And the Hendricks County Chamber's Public Policy Committee. You guys know I'm coming, so you get whatever, in order that you need to have. Because I'm gonna go to that, Casey. I'm gonna get me a pastry, and I'm gonna ask some questions. And Evil Igor, maybe, I don't know if I'll be allowed to film or if Evil Igor is gonna ban me from filming. That is kind of pathetic that a U.S. senator is afraid to be filmed, isn't it?
Yeah, but I would think, in light of what happened to Donald Trump and the failed assassination attempt, there might be more than one Igor there now. And rightfully so. Like, haven't all the politicians beefed up their protection? And at this point, I wouldn't blame them if they had.
Well, what does that have to do with me filming a U.S. senator?
Nothing. I'm just saying there might be more than one.
Mr. 2A, tough guy, Marine Todd Young, he can have as many armed, burly sheriff's deputies.
You're not there to cause trouble. You're there to ask questions.
I'm there to ask questions, and I'm there to get answers. And Todd, I will see you. Spendenberg, whatever we want to call him, and Igor.
This is your warning.
We will see you guys in August. Hot dang, Casey.
All right. Well, besides pastries with politicians, let's talk burgers up next on 93 WIBC.
Are you not entertained? It's the Hammer and Nigel show. We crack the mic at 3:06. We go until 7. And with this news cycle, you have no idea what's coming up next. We're going to give you the biggest updates. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. Join us this afternoon. 93 WIBC.
Sinus pain. You know it all too well. It's constant. It's frustrating. The pressure, the headaches, the snoring, the constant clogged feeling. You're tired of feeling like this, but you've tried nasal sprays, over-the-counter medicines, even home remedies. No matter what you try, nothing gives you lasting sinus relief. You're tired of missing out and feeling miserable. There is something you can do, something different. Indianapolis Sinus Center. The physicians at Indianapolis Sinus Center have been serving the community with proven treatments for over 50 years. They know what you're going through, and they're standing by ready to offer you the best treatments to provide long-term relief. Breathe better. You don't have to keep suffering from sinus pain. Call Indianapolis Sinus Center today at 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward relief. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650 or go to IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 71% of non-retired adults are worried about retirement saving. At Howard Bailey Financial, we don't believe retiring with confidence should be guesswork. In fact, our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we provide our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you won't outlive. To receive your complimentary toolkit, text CLARITY to 866-482-9559. Take a step toward a more confident retirement with Howard Bailey Financial and text CLARITY to 866-482-9559.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TS1.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
It's almost here. The best days of summer return this August with your 2024 Indiana State Fair. Join us for endless fun, where there's something for everyone. Take a stroll and enjoy your favorite traditions, or enjoy one of the many new additions. This year, we're celebrating the art and nature of fun, presented by Newfields. Grab discount tickets today at indianastatefair.com. 15 magical days full of fun. Returns August 2nd through 18th. Closed Mondays. Plan your trip today and save big. See you at the fair.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Living through unprecedented events every day is a new lesson. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Costco, to that end, has something on their shelves that you might be interested in buying. It's called an emergency dinner kit. It's dubbed the Apocalypse Bucket. There's food in there that lasts 25 years.
Oh, wow.
It costs $80, and it features 80 entrees and sides, 30 breakfast servings, and 40 drink servings. All you need is water to prepare it. And it has a total of 25,280 calories. The meal options range from teriyaki chicken to tomato basil soup, pasta Alfredo, cheesy macaroni, and apple cinnamon cereal.
We went to Costco last night, and I know when I'm at Costco, I know in the long term I'm saving myself money, but it is the freaking sticker shock when you get to that register because it's so big, the portions or whatever is so much more expensive. I got like dog food and some diapers. We finally ran through all those baby wipes that you gave us.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Like some paper towels, a couple food items, like $243. And it's like, oh my gosh, I get that in the long term I'm saving money, but yikes, just having to run that through. Anyway, while I was there, I had the greatest, they had a just floor display of these massage chairs.
Yeah.
And the dude was there who was like one of the salesmen. And it was the greatest thing.
Did you get like a sample massage?
Yeah, like the guy was like, sit in, we'll go. Well, I acted like I had money and,
Right, like you were really interested in buying the massage chair?
And it was like $5.5 grand was for the floor model. You could get the floor model for like $5.5 grand, which I don't know. There's not many things that are worth $5.5 grand, but this looked like it might have been.
Well, does it come with the masseuse?
Yeah, there were no hands involved, right?
No, it's like a chair. It does all the stuff.
Okay, that sounds a lot better.
Like, I don't know what the chair God sits on the throne, in heaven above is like, but I bet it was a chair like this.
It's like the type of thing that massages your neck.
Everything. Yeah, and you press a little button and
it vibrates up and
it's
down.
Like much different than, and you lean back in it, and it's different. Nice. Like, oh yeah, my goodness. Oh wow, it's incredible.
If you ever go get a pedicure, some of the places will have that chair for you to sit in while you're getting your toes done.
Yeah, this was A+, and I ended up talking to this guy for about 30 minutes. I figured the longer I kept talking to him, the longer he'd sit in the chair.
Right, so you just start peppering him with a lot of questions.
What a life. So I guess Costco has some sort of deal with this chair company where they're obviously on a percent of the sale, so they allow them to come in and set up a display. And this dude was telling me that his job is he just goes to different Costco's all over the Midwest. Like, so 1 week he's at the Avon Costco, and then now he might be in an Ohio Costco, and he just lives out of a hotel, basically.
Right.
And his whole life is he just
loading and unloading that massage chair.
Travels across the country and hangs out with different people, and he's like, Ricky Nelson, in every port he owned the heart of at least one lovely girl type of thing. And what a life, man.
So you didn't end up buying it, though?
I had him on the hook that I had to talk to my...
You were like, I want a discount.
I had to talk to my rich parents.
What else did you get at Costco?
Man, like I told you, it was dog food, and it was paper towels and diapers. And
did you end up getting mini pizzas that you're going to have to eat for the next?
Did not. My wife tried to get those, and I said we are out of freezer space. Like, we do not have a big enough we do not have big enough appliances to be Costco.
So when do you think you'll have to go back again? You mentioned it was $240.
Yeah.
So is that like a month or is that a week?
I try to divide my Costco trips up because we have a car, so you just can't get all your stuff in. I do 2 trips a month. One is for the diapers, baby wipes.
Dry goods.
Yeah, and then the other is like a food trip. So we got a little bit of food this last time.
But it was mostly
Yeah.
The diaper, the dry goods.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hear you. Did you hear that McDonald's is now going to continue their $5 meal deal?
I had that yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
They've extended it. It was supposed to be done at the end of May, right? Or end of June, and now it's going to be going all summer long.
Well, I would think a lot of people would get it. It's actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah. So the CEO said, hey, you know what? If we know that you're spending $5 with us, we know you're not in line someplace else. So they're just going to continue on with it.
I mean, you think so? You get what? A McDouble or a McChicken, chicken McNuggets, a fry, and a drink.
Yep.
For $5.
Yeah, you get the cheeseburger, the 4-piece nugget, the drink, and the fries.
This is killing me right now because I've not eaten in a very, very long time because I have to go give blood when I get off the air here. This is really a terrible conversation for us to have.
So does
right
that
now.
mean you don't want to talk about Indianapolis's Burger Week?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. You can enjoy, what is it? It's 7 days of $7 burgers throughout Indianapolis all week long. This ends on Sunday. And some of the restaurants are offering alternatives if you're not a meat eater. I mean, just imagine how delicious.
Stop.
A big,
Why
juicy
are you doing
hamburger.
It? You know what you're doing at this point.
I'm just doing it.
Hey, before we go, I know
Poke
the
the
music's
bear.
playing. We got another one of these emails where some guy who I barely knew quit, and I got to read his life story. It's like a Wikipedia entry. Why
He's
do we
been
do
here
this?
like 3 months.
We do this all the time when these people leave. I mean, you're leaving. Go. I don't need the life story. I'm like, is there something relevant? I read this whole thing. There's zero relevant to me about this guy leaving.
You didn't even know
Good
him at
luck.
all. Well, now he's gone. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call